Beer Podcast.
Hooray!
Cha-cha-cha.
Look,
We're 3/4 to the way to 100.
I know, 75. We're so old.
Good job,
Yeah,
Alex.
Alex,
You
you're
clearly
so
made
old.
something that has stood the test of time.
Clearly.
By that I mean
That said,
Clearly.
I just
Proud.
realized we might have blown our load considering this isn't actually the anniversary of the first
That's
one.
okay.
So.
It was the first
There
one.
is 75.
Wait,
That's a milestone.
Shredder Cels history. When was the first one?
I don't know because the date on iTunes is probably not accurate to when it was released because some of those early episodes took like weeks to come out after they were initially
That
recorded.
is fair, but do you
Alex?
remember what month?
It was like midway through my freshman year, like in the second semester. So sometimes second semester of my freshman year, which would have been early 2012.
So February, March.
I don't know.
April. April comes
May.
next.
No, let's go with
April.
February.
February.
June.
That
Okay.
sounds right.
Cool. So we missed the
July.
anniversary.
August.
So we screwed up on this February thing.
Hey, we've
I
always
lost
gone more
count.
by episode numbers, although that is a little off-putting because we did have one episode, the Fooly Cooley Analysis Podcast, that was a Shred Cell special that didn't get a number. So technically
Whoa.
we've done 76
Why-
podcasts.
why do you have to
You
ruin-
are a liar.
Alex,
You have lied
you
to
have
us,
ruined
sir.
my enthusiasm.
You ruined the whole
I am now
motif.
leaving.
Well, it's things I know because I've been here for every one of them.
Yeah, we know.
I believe
All
that
right.
is your job, though.
Yeah, that's kind of the purpose.
If I was getting paid for this, that would be great. But anyways,
Well, you know.
this is Shred Cells, episode 75.
What?
I am your host,
Really?
Alex Schmitz, and with me here today is Clara Heimberger,
Hey, everyone.
Peter Frank,
Liar.
Chase Pritchard,
Hello.
and Andrew Gleason.
I'm also here all the time, so.
Here for the 75th podcast, technically 76th,
Hey,
of Shred
why you gotta
Cells.
ruin it?
Alex.
Why you have to ruin it?
Just
hey,
remind me of your deceit.
hey, stop ruining
But see, it wasn't numbered, so it doesn't count.
I believe it does if you count.
it. But now you're counting it. Now you're ruining the whole motif.
All
Now
right,
we have
well,
The
to
whole
do it
thing's
again.
screwed. We should just go watch something. We should
just
go
go
watch
home,
something
everybody. It's
right
over.
now. Just come back.
All right,
Yeah.
so for those of you who haven't been listening to us for 75 episodes, we are a part of TechHeads, which is part of AVW Productions, a media production organization here at Ohio University. We here at TechHeads do all sorts of cool things: video games, music. I went a little too fast there. Music, movies, and anime, all sorts of cool stuff.
Most people just fast forward through the section anyway, so it's all cool.
Oh, do they now?
We do
Nice.
tech things.
Hey,
surprised.
that,
Vidya
that
games.
assumes we have viewers.
Hey.
Has Abby talked to us?
Abby died. I'm pretty
Abby,
sure.
no!
I haven't heard from Abby in like
But
years.
she was so sweet. She was our Prush #1 fan.
She was our fresh #1 fan. Even my sisters don't email us. Like they did that a little at the beginning.
Wow, Alex, your sisters are slacking.
Clearly.
Clearly.
All right,
Why
so-
is there so much betrayal today?
I know, right? So we're going to be doing another one of our top 10 list discussions today. We did one of these my sophomore year and another one my junior year. So now, senior year, we're getting near the end of the school year. It's time to do another top 10 list. Before we dive into that, we're going to do a bit of news and the animation we've watched since last time. So recently, over in Japan, there's this thing called Anime Japan. That's some sort of big convention that's happened over the past few days, and a lot of stuff like teasers for the spring and summer seasons came out there. So there's been a lot of trailers coming off.
A1
on
celebrated
ANN.
their 10th anniversary, I believe.
Oh, did they? That's
Yeah.
cool. So a lot of hints about the future seasons that came up. That was pretty cool. One thing that I'm kind of excited about, No Game No Life is getting an English dub from Sentai and being released in June, I believe. So that's a show I quite liked. Unfortunately, it's going to be like $70 to get on Blu-ray. So
Alex.
And it's
kinda
from
sucks.
Sentai.
it is from Sentai.
That's
I mean,
money, though.
Sentai is kind of iffy. Like sometimes their dubs are great, like Clannad, and then sometimes they're not so great, like Kids on the Slope.
Okay, so because of Clannad's
You know what
English
the funny
dubs,
thing is?
Okay.
Both directed by the same guy.
yeah, I believe it.
because of Clannad's English dubs, I only relate everything back to Clannad. So I'm like, oh, that's Akio's voice actor. Oh, that's Kyo's voice actor.
Yeah, you talked about that with High School of the Dead. I
Yeah,
remember.
because that was really weird.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. There's some sort of block on this Japanese television station called the Ultra Super Anime Time Block. Literally what it's called.
Do we watch
God.
American shows during that time?
Maybe. But Hiroyuki Imaishi, the director of Kill la Kill, Panty and Stocking, and Gurren Lagann,
Panty
is
Stocking.
making a short anime for that block with Studio Trigger. We don't know anything about it. So the fact that it's...
Except that we'll watch it.
Well, I'll watch it.
That is true.
The fact that it's a short does mean it's like maybe,
It'll be
not
like
gonna
the
be
Anime
most
Expo
amazing.
short.
Maybe. He did do one of those recently. Then Kandai Collection, which is a show that's been broadcasting this season, was announced to be getting a season 2. So that's kind of cool for fans of that show. And then this is one I'm sure you've been heard about, Chase, that Sony now has the rights to Robotech.
Oh, right, that.
And it plans to do a
Oh,
movie
right.
franchise.
Going to
off
do
it.
I saw that today.
Yeah, do a series on that, right.
Right, which, correct, Robotech is Macross, right?
Macross and 2 other anime that I'm blanking on the title right now.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
so it's a
smashed
fusion.
together as like one big animated series. Basically what happened was that Carl Masek originally wanted to dub Macross, but due to like complications, he couldn't do that. So that was basically what he and Harmony Go came up with, and it ended up probably helped Macross more for like overseas than anything. So.
That's interesting, but I actually haven't seen any of Macross or Robotech or anything. But I know it's
I have Robotech on DVD if you want to see it.
maybe I know I need to watch Macross Plus because that's directed by Watanabe.
Right, it's good. I recommend it.
Yeah, but that's kind of cool. Apparently, the people who produced and wrote 300 are involved with the movie.
Right.
So we'll see. You know, I always like hearing about like anime projects being brought over to America. We just hope that they're good.
And get made.
Yeah, that too.
It's been in production for like 2006 or something.
Yeah, apparently. But apparently because like the rights expired for like that company, now Sony has the rights to it. And they've,
Warner
like,
Brothers.
Oh, so Warner Brothers did have it.
Yeah, for a while.
Are we gonna get back into the Duke Nukem situation where it's gonna get passed between like 8 different creators and then it's gonna come out and be awful?
It's different
Probably.
for movies. It's
Yeah.
the whole process is very different for movies. When movies change hands, they generally just scrap the whole thing before and just like start something new.
Yeah, and in the case of that, if something's getting exchanged, it's probably a script. It's not like they're shooting half of the movie and then giving them the footage.
They would
or
just
anything
trash
like
that. They would just trash anything that they weren't already like working on. Like each company just makes its own thing. Like they might have a script, but that's
it.
Saves like what a month, like a few months of.
And then in terms of animation we've watched since last time, the biggest thing I saw recently is When Marnie Was There, the most recent Ghibli film done by the director of Secret World of Arrietty. I can actually give you my copy of it if you want. They are very girlfriends. It's very much girlfriends in that movie. It was very good, like typical Ghibli quality. I really like the director. He's the same guy who directed Arrietty. There's a thing with the plot near the end that I'm a little like shaky on. But overall, it was very pretty, nice emotional story. It's about like this kind of girl who's suffering with depression, but they did that like really well.
I don't think Miyazaki's involved in this one, right?
He wasn't involved with it like at all. But and we talked about on the last podcast how that director's apparently isn't at Ghibli right now. So it's, a little up in the air about like if he'll make a project with them again or if they'll even make another project. Because if they don't, this will be the last movie that ever comes out of Ghibli because that's the last one they made before, kind of shutting their doors.
I think
as
the
it
only
were.
thing Miyazaki did was criticize the movie poster.
Criticize the movie poster. I did hear that he apparently did like publicly support the movie, like saying it was very good or something like that. But I haven't read any of those quotes myself. Another thing, I was doing some work and had Attack on Titan on in the background. I own the series on Blu-ray, but I hadn't actually watched much of the English dub, so I was kind of doing that to get a feeling for it. And there's some kind of odd feelings online about like Aaron Yeager's voice. He's Bryce Papenbrook is his name, and he like sometimes with like his voice he like gets very like screamy, like to the point where like you hear his voice crack and stuff. But that's like something that I guess Mike McFarlane, like listening to episode commentaries, who was the director for the series, wanted to kind of do that with like all the voices to kind of get across the human terror of the Titans and everything. So I actually think that comes across pretty well. The only thing I didn't really like about the dub is Aaron. I suppose I shouldn't. To try not to spoil things, a certain Titan's voice is like they make it way more high pitched than it was in Japanese, and I just don't like it. It doesn't sound as good.
Has anyone here seen There Will Be Brawl?
I remember you telling me about this. I've seen a little bit of it.
I think
The
I saw
guy-
the first episode.
The guy who plays Ganondorf, Matthew Mercer, is the voice of Levi.
Yeah, he's really good as Levi,
Oh,
actually.
he does a lot of dubbed voices.
I forget her name,
He's
but
really impressive.
the girl who plays Mikasa, I also really like. She does the whole cold but kind thing really well. And then just the anime that I've been watching, week to week. Some of them are ending now. We're kind of getting to the end of the winter season into summer. So, Yona of the Dawn finished up recently. Quite a good show. Only problem with it being that the ending doesn't really end. So I actually went to the manga, like marathoned through what is out of that, and that actually gets into some really cool stuff. Parasite ended the other day. Kind of disappointing ending, honestly. That show kind of peaked early, in my opinion.
From what I found with reading, because I've seen the manga all the time on the website I go to, because I like reading Halloween stuff. But like a lot of horror manga just end in the worst way possible because they don't give you closure.
Sounds about right.
I don't know.
So I'm just used to that kind of
That's
thing.
more of an
by
issue
now.
with, actually, speaking of that, Tokyo Ghoul Route A, which is based on the manga, but they kind of did this weird thing where it's like a hybrid of the manga as well as some anime original stuff with writing done by the original creator, like the mangaka. So I was actually kind of liking some of the changes they made in the anime version, but this ending was like a little bit like anticlimax-ish, which kind of disappointed me. It was like very pretty, but I wasn't quite what I wanted. Sayakano, which I talked about last week, quite a good harem show, like romance show that had some really good characters in it. Unfortunately, also doesn't have that great of an ending, and was no announcement of a season 2, so I hope it really gets that so I could see the complete story. And tomorrow is going to be the end of Shirobako, which is one I've been watching for a while now, and is probably going to make it onto like my top 20 anime list because I've really liked it, and I hope it wraps up good because the most recent episode before this one was like excellent, like maybe one of the best in the entire series. So that's it for me, Clara.
I was watching a little bit of Your Lie in April because I was planning on doing the podcast, but then I had 4 projects and a paper to do, so I didn't do that. Kevin and I have been watching a lot of Steven Universe, actually. Just getting caught up with that because
It's Western animation.
it's so good. I know, but it's animation.
Yeah, Jeremy's
dear.
been watching that a lot recently, so I've been
It's
catching
so
little bits.
Good. Kenny, with Jeremy, finished JoJo right before Stardust Crusaders, so I was around for that. That was interesting.
Yes.
I'm really happy
Joseph.
because it actually kind of, unlike some animes, it goes on with life. Like, people grow up, people die, people get married and have kids, and then there's the next part of the story. I like stories that do that, just carry on through the generations.
Yeah, it definitely does do that well.
So that was cool. I liked that a lot. It's ridiculous, but it's like not to the dumb level of ridiculous apparently. I don't know why I can handle this but not Gurren Lagann. But
Yeah, I don't, because they're both the same manly, like, overload silliness
yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
like I don't know why. Like I just cannot do Gurren Lagann. I've watched other things I don't remember.
All right.
I forget. Go on, Peter.
One thing we did watch Rebels
We did.
last
Oh
week.
yeah,
We did watch
I
Rebels.
was there for that.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of that.
And
There
watched
were
Rebels.
lightsabers.
Yeah, we
and
made it
Star
6
Wars.
episodes in, I think.
Mutton
Yeah.
Chops McGee.
Yeah, pretty good, really. I can't critique
Yeah.
it that much. It
I
just
mean-
hasn't quite hit, like, greatness levels.
Well, I mean, they're still
yet.
trying to establish characters. Like, there wasn't a lot of episodes for a lot of the, like, side characters. I was, like, halfway through, like, until the last episode we watched, I was like, what does the pilot do, like, other than fly the ship? Like, does she, like, do
be
stuff
a cutie
occasionally?
patootie.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like,
She is that.
I like the Mandalorian chick, but,
She blows stuff up.
I like that. And I appreciate it. Just felt like a lot of episodes about, like, what's the Ezra
Yeah.
and
The furry guy,
yeah, the
voiced
furry
by
guy,
Steve Blum.
Steve Blum's character, which is basically all we've been calling him. Steve Blum's character and Ezra are like seem to have like a lot of episodes together. Like
They're best
Kanan?
bros.
Kanan.
Kanan,
Kanan has like barely been doing, like, he did one episode of like teaching him Jedi stuff, and I was like, Kanan, I expect more of you because aren't you supposed to be
we're
like
only
Jedis?
we're halfway through. I do kind of want to finish it up because from the reviews I read, apparently like the last arc, like the last few episodes, did something like more dark and interesting.
Which is cool.
Which I wanna
And,
get to.
Yeah, I like the Inquisitor though. I think
Yes,
he's like a really
he's cool.
villain.
Cool lightsaber too.
He is a cool lightsaber.
Pete, what have you been watching?
Really nothing since the last podcast, Alex.
I've kept you busy, haven't I?
Not as busy as you've kept Andrew. I managed to escape for a little while.
Escape my clutches. All right. Chase, how about yourself?
Yuri Kuma, Sailor Moon Crystal, same as always.
Same as always. Yeah, I've been watching Yuri Kuma as well. Most recent episode, another good one.
Oh yeah.
I'll be interested to see how they wrap everything up in the 12th episode.
I trust Ikuhara. He knows how to end stuff.
He does. I'll say what I will about Penguin Jump. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but the ending was like very, even if I didn't understand what was going on, it was emotionally like cathartic.
Oh
definitely.
yes, totally.
So that was good. Andrew, what have you been watching?
Animation wise, nothing really. I want to watch more Gravity Falls and Adventure Time, but I do not seem to find some. I know it is. It's ridiculously good, and yeah, Adventure Time I also want to do. Because apparently that gets good in its 3rd season. So.
Archer's another thing we need to do.
Archer is another thing we need to do. We did finish Archer.
We did finish the
What was
the one that is on Hulu.
Yeah.
Presently.
Yeah, we finished fifth season of Archer. No, we didn't finish the sixth season.
Sixth season already getting on Hulu?
I don't think it's on Hulu. It just exists
Nah,
in this world.
We will find it.
Oh, yeah. And this is something I remember I wanted to mention last week's podcast, but I forgot to. Apparently, Your Lie in April is getting an OVA at some point. Like, they do that with anime. You know, they'll get an OVA like 3 or 6 months later that comes packaged with, like, the manga or the DVDs or whatever. So, in that case of Your Lie in April, I don't know if it's going to be, like, a serious one that's, like, set after the ending or just a silly one-off episode where they, like, go to a beach or something.
Beach episode.
That is
Probably,
I
probably
swear.
the latter.
We'll see. I've seen both done well in different shows. All right. So, getting on to the main discussion for this week, as I said at the top of the show, it's going to be a discussion on our top 10 favorite TV anime, not including movies on this list. We've done this twice before. I kind of want to go over what our lists were from previous years, just for reminiscence sake, and so people could kind of get an idea in case they haven't listened to those episodes. So 2 years ago, with the original one, it was me, Mark, Andrew, Kenny, and Matt. And our list at that time was Code Geass, going down, by the way. Code Geass, DBZ, One Piece, Fate Zero, Death Note, Madoka, Trigun, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Cowboy Bebop, and Gurren Lagann.
Ugh.
Remember that Mark, you, and then you convinced Kenny, even though he hadn't seen the show, to vote for Gurren Lagann to be number one.
I did. Well, no, because like the first time we did this, Gurren Lagann was like on top, right?
Well, no, Gurren Lagann was number one.
Yeah. So, and then somehow we got it bumped down to 10. So now I had to fight to bring
Actually,
it up to like...
it was 9 last year.
Okay, it was 9.
Last year it was me, Tristan, Clara, Andrew, and Kenny, and we did Attack on Titan, Gurren Lagann, Psycho Pass, Fate Zero, Bakemonogatari, Clannad, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Steins Gate, Cowboy Bebop, and Madoka at number 1.
And I was like this close to getting Digimon Season 3 on there.
You were very close.
God.
Madoka.
And Andrew wanted, or not Andrew, Kenny wanted his DBZ, but he didn't quite make it.
He did not quite make it. So Kenny's not here to fight for DVZ. So
But this means that Andrew and I are the only 2 people here who have been on like all of them. So you're one of the mainstays, Andrew.
Inheritor.
We're counting on you.
Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna start calling myself like, well, I'm inheriting the thing, so I guess I should get a say in this one.
That's
I'll
true.
do next year's.
It's true. I'm passing the crown down to you.
I have a crown now, guys.
There can only be one, Highlander style.
Okay, fine. I will fight you for it.
I'm going to break the illusion.
Give me
now
my
that I have
broadsword.
enough crowns.
Give me my broadsword.
I don't
Give
have
me
that
the
with me.
broadsword,
Okay,
I want to
I'll
fight for
give
the
you
crown.
my arm.
Top
That's
West
something.
Three.
Okay.
The quickening.
So,
I like
just to preface this, if you're going to say any sort of, we'll have discussions about the show. If you're going to say anything spoilerish about the show, just make sure you warn beforehand, because we want anybody who listens to this to be like somebody, they could come in like not knowing anything about these shows and not be spoiled on them and still listen to our conversation. And just try not
Vader's Luke's father.
and just try not to
Andrew.
talk.
Come on.
Andrew.
Snap kills Dumbledore.
Don't bully Andrew.
Well, that's actually a plot twist.
Don't
Gladys
bully.
is a robot.
Oh my god.
Peter, don't bully.
And try not to talk
don't
over.
bully Peter.
Try not to talk
Sexy.
over people if we get into some harsh debates about things, because I know that occasionally
Well,
happens.
I
on
mean,
these
now that
Boy,
we-
episodes.
After Story's the
Well, now we
greatest
get-
anime ever made.
You wanna fight me?
I never seen it, so.
I don't know. I mean, we're gonna go talk about Ava again. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I figured there was gonna be some Ava talk here,
And
but
if even goes the greatest movie ever.
we'll get into it.
Um,
So,
I'm leaving.
How this is going to work is we're going to go around. Everyone's going to say their top 10, going from 10 to 1. And if there's one show in particular you want to pitch to the group here, feel free to do so. It can be one that's either your like number 1 show if you want to talk about that more, or if it's something that's like not as popular, kind of underrated or whatever, you could do that as well. So for myself, number 10, Fate Zero, very great anime, love it to death. Gen Urobuchi writer, great UFO table production values. Number 9, Code Geass, another one of my favorites, just awesome. Number 8, Bakano. This is one have you seen Bakano, Chase?
I've seen episodes of it. Haven't finished it yet.
I see. Well, Bakano is one where, like, at the beginning, it's a little tough to get into just because it has a very, like, it's kind of Pulp Fiction-y.
Yeah, a lot
it
of
does,
people love it.
Ooh, I'm on board.
yeah, well, honestly, you'd really like it because it does, like, 3 different timelines but mixes them all together. But then, like, they all pay off, like, big time by, like, the 13th episode. It's
Okay.
really well done. Like,
Alright.
Immortal
I'd
Gangsters.
be interested in that.
It's really good. Number 7, Gurren Lagann. Classic. And then a recent addition for me, number 6, Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
I want to
yes.
watch that so badly.
Yep, late 80s to early 90s OVA series of 110 episodes that I watched. That like it's it really, I can now see, looking at it now, it really inspired a lot of things that like Code Geass would do later, like the whole thing of having a guy go to conquer the world for the sake of his sister. Like that's something that they basically took right out of Galactic Heroes for
That's
Code
like
Geass.
a recurring theme in like animes.
It is. People like their sisters apparently.
Oh, that seems to
So
be a thing.
it's just epic.
That is a
Oh,
thing.
Because it's a really easy thing to like defend without any much questioning.
It also has like a very like
There's
display
a
of like
whole anime
innocence.
about
Like
that. I
little
saw
girls
that
are very
recently.
often
Oh my
like
God.
represented as like being the most innocent things in the world. So it's like defending innocence or creating a world where innocence can thrive better.
I guess.
Oni-chan, where's my buttered toast?
Also that.
There's this whole
Always
anime
that.
I've seen recently just popping up all over Tumblr called Kiss Sis or something like
Oh,
that.
Oh,
jeez.
no.
Oh,
It's
jeez. Oh,
terrible.
jeez.
I like
I was
Albert
curious
Carter.
because I'm trash, and I looked at a little
yeah.
bit
Level
of
of
it,
trash.
and it's 100% trash.
Oh, wow,
Yes,
this
I'm
looks
glad.
cute. I'll look at it.
No, it wasn't even cute. I knew exactly where it was going, but I'm trash. So
I've seen reviews of that show, and I know that it's trash, so I can confirm. So yeah, Legend of Galactic Heroes, like amazing epic thing, does politics really well, like the realities of war
I want that.
at a grand scale. It's amazing. Number 5, Clannad, including Clannad Season 1 and After Story. Most emotional anime I've ever seen. Brought me to tears.
Manly
it's
tears.
Great. All the manly tears.
And
Number 4, Steins Gate.
I need to watch that.
You do. Sci-fi, the best time travel story I've ever seen in anything, and I will stand by that.
Do-do-do.
A really emotional anime, but then also does the plot, like sci-fi stuff, extremely well. Have you seen you've seen all of Steins Gate, right?
Oh, I have.
Okay. I
Oh.
think you might have been there for the podcast we did on that, actually.
I probably was, but I don't remember saying much.
Okay. Number 3, Full Alchemist Brotherhood. A while ago, this was once upon a time my number 1 anime. Then moved to 2, and now it's at 3 because I kind of realized like it is amazing. Like it does shonen better than almost any other shonen series I've seen personally because it does it all in like 64 episodes. But it's amazing. Not the greatest thing in the world because that's the next 2, but still one of my favorites. Number 2, Cowboy Bebop, classic. Still holds up well to this day. And number 1, Madoka Magica, my number 1 favorite. I rewatch it all the time. Love it to death.
All the time. Like,
Homer
slightly
did nothing
obsessed.
wrong.
Indeed. I'll be rewatching it again when I get Rebellion on English in April 7th. That's going to be a fun
English?
Why do you destroy yourself like this, Alex?
I don't
because
know.
I love the pain.
Clara, you know you want to watch it.
Being
right.
Madoka is suffering.
Indeed.
it is suffering.
Okay, so Claire, why don't we go to your list?
Heh. All
Oh,
right.
I like the cube that Claire has drawn for me here.
You're welcome. All
God,
right.
I wish
so
Kenny was here. He would be so upset. used
I
to
know,
draw
right?
Cube.
Alright,
I used to draw
Kenny-
Cubase.
Why
in
did you
Kenny's
draw
place,
those
I'm gonna
cubies?
say DBZ number 1 right now as Kenny.
Oh, did he tell you to pitch that?
He did tell me to pitch DBZ. So there's my pitching of DBZ.
To which we have now rejected it and moving up.
All right, so
DBZ Bridge, though.
Dragon Ball GT's better.
I don't think
Oh,
anybody says
man.
that.
I can feel him hating you from here.
Kenny?
I'll let him know.
Yeah.
All right,
Text
so,
Kenny now. Somebody text
All right.
Kenny right now.
You know,
I want to hear what Claire has to say.
all right, there's this anime I watched for a really long time on demand that I will always continue to watch because it's just goofy and silly, but also really emotional. Has a really deep plot. Called Mahoromatic.
Okay.
It's older, but at the same time, I very much enjoy it. It's about this retired android who is sent to serve the son of her commander, who is a total, like, hikikomori, shuts himself inside, doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't have friends, is really unpleasant, and she becomes, like, his housekeeper and maid. So, she's a, like, really goody two-shoes character who's like, swearing is very bad, don't think dirty thoughts, I'm gonna clean up after you, don't be a bum, be kind to everybody, I'll go get groceries. Like, she's really upbeat, but then later you find out that she only has a set amount of time to live anymore, and then he just bonds with her, and it's really sad because you know that there's a timer, and at the end of every episode it tells you how many more days she has left until she deactivates, and it's sad.
That's interesting. I've actually heard of that one. I've seen clips of it. I
It's
believe.
cute. It can get fan servicey, but at the same time, I don't care. So
Isn't it an old Gynax show, like from the
don't- I
90s?
don't remember.
I'm 90% certain it's
Oh,
Gynax.
if it is what I think it is, yeah, it is.
Because I know Yo-Yo Shinari worked on it at the very
She also
least.
has cowlicks, and it makes me smile.
Nice. Number 9.
Number 9, Kanan.
Oh, nice. I've heard
I
of that
like
one
that
too.
one. It was really actiony. I like very powerful lady characters, and the antagonist is just this cold-blooded woman who, at one point, like cuts her own arm off, and I'm just like, you don't get more hardcore than cutting your own arm off to escape. Like, that is just amazing, and it's really complex, and I like it a lot. And they're pretty ladies.
Nice.
Number
I've heard of that
8
one, too.
is Book of Bontura. I put it lower because I have not seen the entirety of it, but I still loved a bunch of it. It's about when there's a special library that collects these slabs of, they're technically like books of people's lives, and every time you die, well, not every time, but when you do die, your life is turned into this little book, and if someone touches it, they can read your entire life and feel everything you felt, and they have to go and collect all these books for reasons. Number 7, Anohana,
Nice.
because it destroyed me. Like, it wasn't like my favorite plot, but it was still really cute, and it hurt,
Yeah.
and I like
I
feelings.
should mention, for me, Anohana is number 11. Like, it's just off the top
It's
10.
really cute, and I just love those types of characters.
Also, I just want to mention, because you've talked about Bontor to me before, and Matt's talked about it too. That is one I want to watch because I hear good things.
It's really good. My one complaint about it is that it doesn't, like, when you're watching it in like one big binge, it doesn't transition from like one arc to the other. So in the beginning, you're like confused if it's like the same thing going on because they make no mention to the time passing between. That's my only complaint. Number 6 is Azumangadayo
Nice.
because it's ridiculous and I love it. And slice of lifey, and it's so much fun.
Best slice of life.
It is best slice of life. Where's 5? 5 is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because it's very fun for me.
Man,
and
that's high.
it is, but it's because of how little I've watched and how much I love it. That's why it's so high. Number 4, Kill la Kill. I very much liked Kill la Kill. Just because Satsuki is amazing.
Did you ever see the OVA, like the 25th episode?
I did, yes.
Good. That
I was sad
good.
I didn't
You
get my
guys saw that,
I didn't
right?
get my
I
beach
did. Nope.
episode.
What? Man. I might have to like show you guys that like immediately. Like
pretty
It's
good.
absurd that you've gone this long without seeing it.
We meant to watch it, and then we got distracted. I think we ended up showing Ryan the first 3 episodes
you-
that night.
Jeremy was telling me something about some people coming over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. I might tomorrow then.
Score.
Kill a Kill OVA. I can
Yay.
get that.
It's pretty good.
It is
Where
good.
was I? 3 is Psychopaths.
Nice.
Because Psychopaths is
that.
best.
Yes, you do.
Is best.
This should be noted, though, you haven't seen the second season, which we're going to be doing next
Yes,
week.
but first Psychopaths is best, and Kagiri is still alive because I said so, and I haven't seen a body.
Hashtag Kagiri is alive.
Hashtag Kagiri alive forever. I was flipping between Psychopaths and my number 2 because I could not decide, but I put Madoka at number 2 because in 12 episodes it absolutely destroyed everything I was. And Rebellion did not help that at all. Like, I just remember when Kenny was driving us back, I was just numbly staring out the window,
I
trying to
remember that.
contemplate how I felt about
Yeah,
everything.
no, like that was the most amazing. That was one of the most amazing like movie going experiences of my life because like
was.
literally everybody in the theater just turned and said, "What just happened?"
I
Yeah,
know.
we
It
were all
was-
collectively confused.
Collective WTF was
Why?
great.
Why does the writer
Although,
give me an ending and then
I-
take it away?
I kind
Yeah.
of
Why do you
wish
take away my ending?
I kind of wish I'd gone to Ava a little earlier, so I could have gone to one of those 3.33
Oh my god!
screenings.
Well, no, because we
that would
had
have
a-
been similar.
We would have had a very similar experience at the end of 3.0. We would have been like, "So what did we just watch?"
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that.
I like to think that there's like one theater screen where after one movie just goes, yeah, whoa, yes, yes, yeah.
Just that the one guy in the theater.
God, I now have a goal of being that guy.
And everybody else was just like, "What did we just watch?"
See, my friend Danielle and I were that guy, but with Twilight. Because this was, okay, 9th grade. So we went and saw it, and everyone, of course, is cheering for Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner and all that. But then when Billy and Charlie came on the screen, because Charlie was one of the few redeeming characters in that entire franchise because he was our sarcastic, amazing character. He was Bella's dad, if people don't know, and he was hilarious. Everything he said was golden, so very quotable, and we cheered like madmen when they came on screen.
So, like, there was Team Jacob, there was Team Edward, you were Team Charlie.
Yeah, Team Charlie. And to nobody's surprise, Clannad and After Story my number 1.
Whoa, big shock.
Well, big shock.
Upset.
But yeah, because Clannad is number 1 forever. And it's just the most in-depth.
What did you think of the 2002 movie?
Was it? It wasn't 2002. I think it was like
It's-
2005.
It's somewhere around that time.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it, and I honestly gave up because the art style was so different, and they tried to compact like the whole story into one movie.
Yeah. Like, they did
So-
fine with the recap episode. It was fine.
Yeah. Well, actually, because that movie was done by like a different production company. That was like the first thing that came out of Clannad that was animated. Then the Kyoto Animation TV show actually came out afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know what story behind that is. It's kind of
Because
odd.
it's like they have two beautiful series that just. I could go on forever about Clannad, so I'm stopping myself
Go
now.
back and listen to episodes 51 and 52 if you want to hear us
and
go
you
on
will hear
forever
me
about
cry
them.
forever. 'Cause it was just
All right.
nothing but crying.
Pete, your top 10.
Okay, my top 10 is going to be a little bit more limited than others because I haven't watched quite as much, especially considering I skipped on a lot of the more important ones, especially for the podcast. Like, I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop or any of those
I
fantastic
haven't
ones.
seen Bebop either.
Excellent.
Okay, I haven't seen Fullmetal Alchemist. I haven't
I've
seen
seen
Beboop.
Fullmetal
I haven't seen Steins Gate. Like, I don't
haven't
watch
seen-
popular things because I'm trash.
So,
Silly anime hipster over
A
there.
little bit.
my 10 is No Game No Life, which I'm fine not being on any list. It was just like, I need one more anime. This one is one that I genuinely enjoyed. Yes.
That one's on my top 50, honestly. Like, I really liked it.
That doesn't say anything, Alex. 50 is not that high.
You'd be surprised. I've had to leave some shows I love off that top 50.
I'm gonna go ahead and just ignore that. We're gonna.
You have this chair to fill, Andrew. How does that make you feel? This
So
throne.
big. The crowd is so heavy.
The burdens. All right, continue.
Why are we laughing?
My number 9 is Die Buster. I watched that just recently, and I actually really loved it. I love the fight scenes. I love the art style. It did what Gurren Lagann couldn't, and it managed to make me care about side characters. And it also
about some of the side characters.
I-
Kitan.
I
Some of them.
I cared
Kitan
about
was
some of
the
them.
only one I
cared
cared
about
about.
significantly
And the
more.
twins. The twins were cool.
I cared about significantly more of the side characters in Die Buster. But it doesn't get quite to that like inspirational ridiculousness that I love Gurren Lagann for, so I can't put it.
It gets
aside
close,
Gurren Lagann.
though.
It gets close, but not nearly as well done
Well, no.
for me. So next, moving on, my number 7 is Digimon Season 1.
Shouldn't it be 8?
Yes, 9. I can count. Shh. I can count. I
Okay,
put numbers
so
next to things.
Digimon is
Digimon
8.
Season 1. I love it. It's a fantastically told story where, like, most of the characters, with the exception of 2 that no one likes, actually have full, interesting character arcs.
So you don't have Tamers on here?
Tamers is much higher up.
Okay.
I consider them separate things because they're
Okay.
separate entire stories.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, they have like very separate like themes.
I mean, they're basically totally different shows.
Yeah.
Just in the same universe.
Boy, guys, new anime is going to be great. I can tell.
I
really
am
believe
really
it.
hoping.
I hope it will be great. I'm worried about Toei. Toei.
I believe though.
I believe.
I believe in the me that believes in Toei.
I believe in the me that believes in Digimon. I'll say that.
Okay, so moving on. Clannad.
Yes, yes.
Seriously, the only romance slice of life show that I can get even vaguely into.
Favorite character?
I couldn't think of one now, but
By the time that this podcast is over, we should just sing Danko or whatever that ending song
Dango?
is. Yeah,
Not
that's
the Dango song. Clara did sing it on the podcast once.
She
If you
did.
give me lyrics,
was
I can
sad.
sing it.
It's just Dango.
Just Dango over and over. That's it. Every lyric. All right, number 6.
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill.
Fantastic show. So over the top. I really loved a lot of the characters. I enjoyed the story. I loved how they actually tried to like defy what you thought the pacing of the show would be. I really enjoyed it. There are a few dead episodes, but I liked that show a lot.
Fair choice.
Next, Ava.
Ava.
I really liked that show. I'm one of those weird people that likes just like this straight up first ending. I even feel like the weird art thing was at least interesting for a little while. There are parts of the ending that are just like garbage, but at least the animation ending. But I love Ava. Next, Digimon Season 3, Digimon Tamers.
All right, Tamer's number 4.
It tells a similar depression story to Ava, except it manages to tell that story in a cogent manner. So,
Which
yeah.
one is that one again? Like, what's the plot? 'Cause I saw some Digimon back in my day.
Guillemon or Red
Yeah.
Digimon
With Patamon.
Okay.
No,
No, not Patamon.
Wow.
Terriermon.
Who was
Terriermon.
the
Good scope.
antagonist? Terriermon is best.
Terriermon is best.
eventually depression, a giant red blob of depression.
Okay.
There was
Was
also a guy riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, the
Okay.
little
Might have seen
purple
him.
imp guy
no, there
with
was
the
also
little.
that dude. The
hat.
first
the
arc
imp
was about
guy.
the guy in the data center. He was,
Yes.
he was the villain of the first arc. So,
Okay.
yes.
I don't think I saw that one then.
Moving on. Fate Zero.
Oh wow.
The
Nice.
art in that one is so good. I love it. I got really attached to a lot of the characters, and I just genuinely enjoyed it, which is like, a lot of my favorite animes are like, oh, this one's sad, or like this one's like, about depression. It's like, no, this is just a really well written show with characters that I like and fantastic animation and fight scenes, and I can't say anything bad about it.
And it's worth noting that like the best episode of that show is an episode with little action in it. Episode 11, the Talk of the Kings.
Love that episode.
Oh God!
Did
it's
I
so
tell you that
beautiful.
episode was awesome?
That's a great episode.
That is my favorite episode.
Also, when you find out Red is double phantasm, though, which is awesome.
It is. There's a little bit of action at the end, but it's mostly just talking, and it's great.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Number two, I am going to be like many other people, Madoka. Madoka's a good, sad anime, and I was really compelled throughout the entire thing.
Good choice.
And then number one,
Big surprise.
Gurren Lagann. It's my favorite anime of all time. It's over the top as heck. While what it lacks in like quality side characters, it makes up for in just absolute inspiration, fantastic soundtrack, great fight scenes. Love it.
All right. Very nice. Chase, what is your top 10?
All right, I'm going to see if I can try to describe all these in like a sentence or so. So here we go. Number 10, Evangelion, a very important anime series to the 1990s. A lot of great moments that I've always revisited, but as time goes on, I kind of realized that the show doesn't really speak for me like it once did back years past, but way too many good moments and way too important for me to ignore, so definitely top 10 material.
That's interesting. I don't really know what to expect from your top 10 just because I don't know your anime taste as well, but I thought Ava would be higher, honestly.
You'll be surprised.
All right.
All right, number 9, Penguin Drum. Love. Get ready, folks. Ikuhara is going to ride this top 10 list, but
Big surprise there.
a lot of great characterizations, beautiful music, lots of great imagery, great story. Even though it's like probably in my lower tier list of Ikuhara hits, there's still way too much good literary like notice for me to like absolutely recommend it to anyone. Number 8, Gunbuster, Ano's first anime and probably one of his most emotionally engaging ones, with very likable characters, a very tight-paced story for like 6 episodes, beautiful, absolutely wonderful music, and a tightly structured story that like hits all the high notes and basically emphasizes like on how great and important like the OVAs were like back in the late 80s. Highly recommended.
Interesting, because on my list that I've made, I do have Gunbuster and Diebuster on there, but I kind of grouped them together since they kind of work together as one whole. But you guys both kind of split them apart.
Yes, that is the case.
I'll probably have to rewatch Diebuster for me to like seriously consider. Number 7, Sailor Moon, but if I had to choose one series, Super S. It's the series no one likes, but I'm probably one of the few people.
Which season is that?
It's Super S, the 4th one.
The 4th one, so the one with Chibiusa and the Pegasus.
Yeah, everyone I know doesn't really like it, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the most fully realized, the most engaging from music, story, art perspective. As far as I'm concerned, it's the rough draft, the very first masterpiece that Ikuhara himself has made. And if you take Ikuhara seriously, to me, that's where it starts.
Who directed, did Ikuhara direct Stars, or was that someone else?
That was the guy who directed Star Driver and Aura High School Club.
Oh, that guy.
Orin.
Cool.
Never saw that either.
Oh, it's good.
So yeah,
show,
if
good
you
show.
like those shows, that was his first, so I highly recommend that.
All right, number 6.
Number 6, Space Dandy.
Ooh, Dandy.
Nice.
Yes.
Space.
I ended up liking this a lot more than I expected. Lots of great comedy. Proves that Watanabe can do comedy if you give him opportunity. Lots of great animation potential. The freedom is very much appreciated at a time where formula rules the day. Not exactly, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But
for me,
you go ahead.
sorry,
Alex.
I was just gonna say Space Dandy is another one I really like. Not on my top 10, but it is one of the most creative anime I've ever seen,
Yes.
especially in terms of the animation and how it changed from episode to episode with the directors and everything.
Basically, what it represents is why it's pretty much on this top 10. Like, if you give me like an engaging, intense action, like I'm all in for it.
All right, number 5.
Number 5, Macross Frontier. Story itself is very conventional, very engaging, but what really sells it is Yoko Kanno's music. As far as I'm concerned, she is the reason to watch this, and she is the one who basically compels to probably one of the top tier Macross related things that I ever seen. Like, if you love high impact action, love synchronization to mecha fights to engaging music. I highly recommend that one, and that's why it's so top on the list.
All right.
Number 4, Yuri Koma. I know
Wow,
that.
really?
Yeah, I know that's not done, but
It
this-
hasn't. Yeah, that's the
this-
thing. What if the last episode isn't good?
Right.
It's unlikely, but
Yeah.
You
Honestly,
haven't seen
this
Zammed.
this might be probably Ikuhara's best story that he's ever written so far. Like, it's
Really?
very tightly paced. He's managed to tell like his typical Ikuhara story in 12 episodes compared to like 26 and 39, which is incredibly impressive. Great music, beautiful imagery, wonderful characterizations. Again, highly recommended.
interesting. What you say? You're saying it's his best story, but are you saying it's better than Utena? Because I know you like Utena a lot.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. I figured. Number 3, then.
His or her circumstance, Kon Kano.
Oh, I love that so much.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the best thing Ono has ever directed. One of the best adaptations I've ever seen. One of the most engaging, underrated animes I've ever seen. Even the
good.
stuff he supposedly wasn't involved with. It's visually engaging, has very sympathetic characters, tells a lot in its compact storytelling. And the first 13 episodes, straight masterpiece after masterpiece. Not a single bad episode at all in those first 13. Highly recommended.
How long is that one?
26.
Okay. I've heard good things about it. I feel like I should seek it out.
I think it was 7th grade. My mom got volumes 9 and 10 for me at the library because she was like, "Oh, you like this Japanese stuff?" And I was like, "Yes, Mom." So I read 9 and 10 and never stopped reading 9 and 10. And then I found it all online and read the rest of it, and then it destroyed my heart. So,
It's too bad the anime never finished.
Oh, really?
I
Really?
never,
That
I
makes me
never
sad.
watched
Yeah,
it, but
sorry.
I read all of
Yeah,
it.
sorry to spoil that.
It's fine. It's older, so.
All right, number 2, Cowboy Bebop.
Beep boop.
Nice.
Definitely probably one of the better paced stories out there that happened in the late 90s. Very engaging visual storytelling. Probably one of the greatest soundtrack ever produced in the 90s. Like very in-depth, very engaging characterizations. It's great all around. Go see it if you haven't already.
I'd argue it's one of the best soundtracks of all time, personally.
Oh yeah, totally.
Very jazzy.
It's hard to beat. And number 1, I think I know what this is gonna be.
Utena.
Woohoo! Yeah. So you said Yuri Kumo's Ikuhara's best story, but is it that not for Utena because he didn't really write Utena?
Basically, as far as I know, Ikuhara was involved with the story, but he didn't write every episode. But basically, the way I see it is that Yuri Kuma is his best story, but Utena is probably the best experience of watching his stuff. That's probably, I think, of all the anime that he has done, that's probably the one that probably infected me the most.
Yeah, Utena's one I should that's one of those classics on the checklist I need to get to at some point. For sure. It is interesting going to Penguin Drum because I've seen all of that. That's one that I honestly think I kind of like the first half a bit more with the second half, just because the first half was a little bit more grounded in reality, for lack of a better term.
More focus on Ringo. Yeah.
Right, whereas the second half starts getting a bit more metaphorical with the child broiler,
Yeah.
and you don't really know what's going on.
Boiler?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, Utena pretty much
Boiled
goes for the same
children?
thing, but there's 3 arcs to it instead of 2.
Right. So like I said, so for me Penguin Drum was good. I didn't really get it, so it was hard for me to get super invested, but the ending definitely I had feelings there for sure. There were not manly tears, but there were feels.
That's what's important, is that there are feels.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there were some feels. So it's a good show at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Andrew, your top 10.
All right.
Woo!
I have a list. It's gonna
Yours
sound-
is the last one, so it
it's-
better be good.
It's gonna sound very familiar. It's
Oh,
gonna
boy.
sound very similar to a lot of other people's lists, mainly Pete's. You.
Well,
and you.
It's always been said that you are just the same. Peter's just you, except with facial hair.
It's just me with facial hair and more evil. Add evil.
With that laugh. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, seriously. All right.
Number 10.
Number 10, Anohana.
And Ohana, nice.
Oh, God, that show.
It was cute.
It was so adorable, and I normally don't like slice of life stuff, but it had that little bit of supernatural tinge to it.
Pete,
Plus-
did you ever watch Anohana?
Nope.
Okay, see, that's another one
But I
you
got
might
Ryan too,
you might actually
so
enjoy. Did he like it?
Yes, he loved it. He likes
I'll have
slice
to
of lifey
talk to
crap.
Ryan about that.
He loves slice of lifey crap.
You should watch Your Lie in April then.
I
He
did
probably-
watch it. Oh, he wants to watch it. He was like in love. He was actually more into Your Lie in April than we were.
Yeah,
So-
well, I figure
he had to stop at some point because he had other things to do. He's
No,
going to
he-
watch it later, but he's also super musical and stuff, so that really is like a
yeah.
perfect
and
edge for him.
I told him to watch
That's
Kids.
definitely down his alley.
And I told him
then.
to watch Kids on the Slope because I actually like Kids on the Slope. Anyway, although Kids
You
on the Slope,
mean the show that should have been a Shonen Ai?
yeah. I mean, although Kids on the Slope did give me Love Triangular Prism, which is my favorite thing.
Come on, they held hands in episode 1.
They did hold hands in episode 1. It was confirmed for ship, but whatever.
It was 100% confirmed for ship.
Moving on.
Anyway, so number 9, Code Geass.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I do like.
You were
Code Geass.
you were a little rough on season 1, so I
was
wasn't
a
knowing if
little
you're
rough
gonna.
on season 1. Season
one's
2
good,
makes
though.
up for it in spades, though. It really is like awesome. The fight scenes are epic. I love the central philosophical conflict between the two of them.
Spinzaku.
Even Spinzaku. I love Spinzaku. I can't even call him Suzaku. I just always call him Spinzaku.
I forget, Claire, because I know you've seen some Code Geass, but not like all
I've
of it,
seen the
right?
entirety of season 1 and like 2 episodes and then the ending of season 2.
I was about to say, like, how did you get to the end of season 1 and be like, I need,
Because
and not be like, I need to watch this immediately?
Because I watched it with my friends and then they moved and then I didn't see them. So
Well, maybe I need to loan you my R2 DVD at some
I
point.
want
so
to
you
watch it.
can-
I started watching it because I was like, I should do this at some point, and then I didn't.
But it
So-
has like it has the most obnoxious cliffhanger at the end of season 1, and then it has the most obnoxious first
oh, no,
episode
I
of
know.
season 2.
I was there for that.
Anyway, beyond that, I mean, it's good though that the show made me want to come back. Like, no, I need to see this, and
It is
you
good
know,
at that.
I mean, I don't like the parts about Code Geass I don't like are like the slice of lifey stuff, like where they're at the high school. I'm like, why are you still doing this? There's a war going on. Can we get back to Lelouch winning this war? Because he's really good at that, and that's really fascinating.
Lelouch.
He's really good at it.
0.
All right. So yeah, Code Geass, good show. 10 out of 10. Number 8, Clannad.
Yes.
All right, Clannad.
Some hurt feelings, some manly tears.
Favorite
may or may not
character,
have
Andrew.
Tomoyo.
Good.
That does mean.
Moyo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good. Tomoyo's a good choice. This does mean you have Clannad ranked lowest out of all of us here who ranked Clannad.
This is true, and
Andrew can have opinions
but-
as long as Clannad's on the list.
Clannad, of course, Clannad could not be pushed off the list.
Aw.
It did get pushed out of top 5 though, but that's because of the things that I added that I've seen since last time. Because I've seen 3 shows that got added since last time we talked about that. Actually, I have 4 shows, but last time we talked about this. But
You have seen the light, Mr. Gleason.
I have seen the light. So unfortunately, Clannad had to get pushed down a little bit. But I do love Clannad.
That's
It has like this. It's a beautiful love story that really rips your heart out by the end. It stomps on it and then makes you come back for more. It's kind of
Hurt me more,
it's a little,
Clannad.
it's a little
Please.
abusive, Clannad. Clannad, you're kind of abusive in the most
Yeah.
beautiful way you possibly can be. So
Because then it goes, look, everything's okay. And then
Yeah.
you're like, all right, I forgive
I guess
you.
this is okay. What is Fuko doing?
and
I don't
even
understand
though
Fuko.
the ending, even though
Fuko
I
is
do
cute, though.
love the ending for the most part, except for the last like 5-ish minutes, which confused me.
Fuko.
Fuko, why?
Because
why?
Fuko.
Okay. So number 7, Kill la Kill.
Right.
Kill
Good
la Kill.
choice.
I mean, God, I love Kill la Kill. I mean the meta context, like just the things that they say about like anime as a whole, that the about the fan service, about taking things too far, about like they still have the Gurren Lagann style message of believing in yourself, but
Ridiculous
like
pacing.
the ridiculous pacing, which I actually found fascinating because like
You
I
never knew what was going to happen in any
you
given
never
episode.
knew what was going to happen, which is a very rare thing for me because normally I'm pretty good at predicting plot threads, but Kill la Kill just threw me off through a loop half the time. And
We stopped trying.
the fight scenes,
All that fight
Oh,
scenes.
yes.
the fight scenes.
I actually have Kill la Kill at 15 on my list. Like it's one of those that's close, not quite there. I was just reminded of something though, Claire. 2 anime I know that you've seen that are quite good.
Yes.
Are Trigun and Toradora.
Toradora was really good. I actually, our friend Aaron was asking us for like recommendations to show anime to his sister who wanted to get into it, and I recommended Psycho Pass. I recommended Clannad.
I also recommended Clannad.
Anohana. I recommended Toradora because it was pretty cute.
Nice.
I-
Sorry.
I was gonna say I recommended that, and he said she was in the video game, so I recommended Law Cries. I'm like, go watch that.
That's true too. Have you seen Princess Tutu before?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
That in my if I have a kid someday and they're like young kid, like 4 or 5, I'll probably show them Princess Tutu because it is like PG enough to like show to a really young kid, but actually has like a really good story to it, like dark and dramatic and like everything. I really love that show.
Yeah, I heard it gets real.
Oh, it gets very real. Andrew, number 6.
Number 6. Okay, so this one's Digimon Tamers.
I figured
So-
Tamers would be here.
Tamers, you're so good. Why must you be so good? Why must you be so good trapped in a kid's show?
Seriously, it's weird.
Like it feels trapped in its kid.
Well, It's the same writer as Serial Experiments Lane, so
Which I need to
need
watch.
to watch
I need
that.
to watch that, and I need to watch Big O because he also wrote that. And
I will say, given how much you liked Brain Scratch, you will probably really like Lane.
I will probably really like Brain Scratch is an excellent episode. Anyway, yeah, Tamers. Pete already said a lot about it. Excellent metaphor for depression at the end. Just it got really dark and really serious, and then they started asking. Then they started having episodes that talked about like what is life and like can digital things actually be alive and like how do
What is the value of one life over another?
Yeah, like what is the value of one
that
person's life? Because like
whole
they could have killed the little
thing.
girl to save the problem, to fix the problem, but then you'd have to kill a little girl for that, and that's like into dark, really dark territories. And I'm like, that's kind of fascinating in its own way. Why
bit.
you gotta be like that, Digimon? All right, so number 5,
Number 5.
Fate Zero.
8-0. All right.
So I've seen Fate Zero since last time we did this.
That's true.
I watched it
You've-
over the summer.
You now know.
It's so awesome.
How
Oh
awesome
my
it is.
god, I was like, this is great. The smart interplay, the characters always trying to outwit each other, like this is a show with a sociopathic serial killer and his sociopathic druid friend that has a Cthulhu that could turn into a Cthulhu monster, and he is not even the most evil person in the show. That is how good the villains in the show
Seriously,
is.
those are two of
Kirei-
my favorite characters.
Kirei is evil.
It's true. Although they actually when spoiler alert, when serial killer orange-haired guy dies, you actually felt a little bit bad because
Yeah,
he was
This was inside me the whole time.
He also
Why
has
did I have to?
best-
Why did I look anywhere else?
Also, best philosophy for killing people. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like, I've never seen a better argument for serial killers than that until then. I'm like,
Yeah.
why did you make me almost side with the
That's
serial
great.
killer show?
Almost.
How did you do that?
It's the same way that Silence of the Lambs makes you side with Hannibal
Oh,
Lecter.
because he's so good. Yeah, exactly. It's like that.
It is kind of
It's like that,
like
and that's only the first half of the show. The second half is just like how evil can we make Kirei, and there's apparently no limits.
There's never a limit. Chase and Claire, have you seen any of Fate Zero?
Oh yeah, parts of it. Haven't seen. Think
Oh.
I've seen like 4 or 5 episodes.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
well,
thing-
that's one you should
The
finish. It
thing
is
he
good.
does to
Yeah,
what's his
I'll
name,
work on it.
Kaguya,
Oh,
the bug guy.
yeah, no, Kari.
Karya?
Karia, yeah,
Something
Karia.
like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
Karia. The things he does to Karia, and Karia, who my only complaint about the show really is that Karia deserved more screen time because he has so much screen time in the pilot, and
Yeah.
then like he gets no screen, and he became like the most sympathetic character by the end of the pilot. Because all he wants to do is save that little girl from getting raped by those bug things, and I really felt for that.
No, I agree. He doesn't get as much development as he deserves.
But yeah,
honestly.
like, I mean, they spend a lot of time with Reen because she's in Fate Stay Night.
But Ryder, guys.
And also, I was getting
best character.
best confirmed for best character, Ryder. Actually, I do like Ritsugu and Saber and Lancer, but Ryder is best character, and his end the second to last episode, where he and Gilgamesh, and I was like,
That's actually episode
can't-
23.
was that
but yeah.
23? Whatever.
But
you
also
can't stop watching
Gilgamesh.
at that point.
Yeah,
also
Gilgamesh,
Gilgamesh.
What a prick, but he's such a compelling character.
Compelling prick. Anyway, so yeah,
I was gonna say Ryder more charismatic than Kamina. I will stand by that.
no.
Oh, shots fired here.
He's smarter
No.
than Kamina.
He's
Well, that's
smarter
not
than Kamina.
hard.
That is
I know
true.
it's not hard. That's part of my
That is true.
my one minor issue with Kamina is how stupid he is.
That is also true.
That is also true. Anyway,
But moving on. Number 4.
Okay, 4. So this one is where we kind of vary up a little bit. Ava.
All right. Figured this was gonna be up here.
So so apparently I took a lot more away from Ava than the rest of you. So Maybe
Well.
Chase. I
Well.
took a lot away from Ava.
You had the 20-minute explanation of the last 2 episodes on the podcast.
I did have that. I went on a
I
rant.
still remember that.
I went on a rant.
It was good though. It was a
I
good
went
rant.
on a long rant, and Kenny didn't know how to respond to that.
I kept my mouth shut. I've been burned out by this many times.
I don't blame you. But
Marco.
so Ava, it's fresh to me. Ava is like a special kind of thing that's like one of the most interesting and frankly almost more realistic portrayals of depression and mental illness that I've seen in like fiction in general, because like fiction is like very hard to like they have a very hard time like portraying
It's
mental
the
illness.
product of people who refuse to get medical help.
Yeah, I mean, but Ava, I feel like has like a really like has a lot of justification for it. Like a lot of people are like, you know, I don't want to say this. Like a lot
Get
of
in the robot.
yeah, I mean, like get in the robot, should she? But no, like I feel like a lot of people just like stare at like mental illness and like you just get over it, or like you know you have to feel inspired. But like Ava does this thing where it's like, yes, he's depressed and he's trying to deal with his depression because his father is literally the worst person in the universe.
Yeah,
You're not
Gendo
wrong.
is actually worse, Dad.
Yes, Gendo is in fact worst dad. Like, I don't think like I've seen like physically abusive fathers in like fiction, and I never hated anybody as much as I hated Gendo, and I was like, which is kind of amazing in its own way.
Yeah.
The other characters all dealing with grappling complex psychological issues. You posted that thing today that I was reading about.
Oh, did you read that?
yeah, I did read that. There were some interesting things being said.
Yeah,
there.
he was a little harsh on 2.0.
He was a little harsh at 2.0, which is sad because I really like 2.0.
But
anyway,
there's a lot of Ava fans who are, so that's how
I
it is.
really like 2.0. Anyway, so Ava, it also does this thing where like he is depressed, but then he like backslides a lot on that because like depression is not like a thing that you just get over and you like you know you just like it's something that you have to like grapple with. Like there are better days and then you slide back and you can't deal with that. And I think that's really fascinating to me because that is a much more like honest interpretation of depression. Now I'm gonna stop talking about
Preach.
Ava.
All right, number 3. Or yeah, that was that was
3.
4.
Okay. This one you'll like. This
Oh.
is the other one. Cowboy Bebop.
Bebop. Yay.
Beep boop.
The
Beep boop.
Beboops.
Beep boop. God, beep boop. You're just so perfect. Why you gotta be like that, beep boop? Like I can't even. Like
We're gonna keep calling it Beboop.
Yeah.
I like the beep boops. Anyway, there's like only one episode that I like, and apparently everybody else in the universe is in love with that episode. I just hate it. So
Yep, you're. Well, you didn't like Boogie Woogie Fun Shui.
it was not
either.
okay. It was definitely like the other weakest episode, but like I did not like what is this?
Pierre LeFou.
Pierre LeFou, and everybody else apparently does, which bothers me on some fundamental level.
You're a
Why is
hipster, Andrew.
I am a
Congratulations.
hipster on
Join
apparently
the
for the
hipster
beboops.
side.
Apparently, I am a cowboy beboop hipster. So,
Apparently.
other than that, I mean the ending. Oh god, the ending, and then the first
Best episode, Star Jet.
So what would that be? Black Dog Serenade?
The other one. Boogie.
Ganymede Elegy.
It's
Yeah,
Boogie
yeah,
something.
Boogie Woogie Feng Shui?
Yeah, even that was a joke. Never mind.
Okay, I was gonna
Oh.
say we're gonna have words if you think that's the best episode.
Oh no, best episode, Cowboy Andy. Anyway, so
aborted.
of Cowboy Andy.
Technically, it's Cowboy Funk.
I know it's Cowboy Funk, but Cowboy Andy is like who's in it. Anyway, I love him. God, beboop.
All right, number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so very similar. Madoka.
I have a feeling I know what the top 2 are gonna be.
You know what the top 2 are gonna be. They have not changed since the second time we did this. So yeah, Madoka. What else can we say?
Madoka.
About it? Madoka. What else can we say about Madoka? I mean, it's a beautifully crafted story. Like watching it the second time, I really stared at it. I'm like, God, it is like perfectly paced.
And knowing the whole
It doesn't.
time.
It doesn't break its own continuity or its own rules once you understand the rules. It's like this beautiful thing. It's loaded with symbolism and intelligent, like thought-provoking things that require like rewatching to get. It is like this epic thing that it is just like this finely crafted thing that clearly was meticulously made for every like second of it.
Well, the funny thing is, from the research I've done, Urobuchi didn't even do that many drafts. Like Shimbo gave him some like minor notes here and there. But
I wonder
really-
if he just like has been mulling over this for like a long time.
Actually, Shinbo and I forget his name, but the producer who like was the producer over the show, were the ones who actually came up with like the initial concept of like doing a darker magical girl show, and then they got Urobuchi involved because he had done things like Sayano Uta and Fate Zero and stuff like that, and they knew that they wanted him to write it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
The darkness.
I just
All that darkness.
It's just funny because then how he like just kind of stumbles upon
Genius.
yeah, I mean, like I mean, he's really good at writing. I mean, like his.
Well, the funny thing with that is
on here, so
because they, from the interviews and stuff I've seen, they just wanted to write like a darker magical girl series, but they weren't setting out to deconstruct the magical girl genre.
Well, he decided that he was going to run with it, so
They weren't setting out to deconstruct the magical girl genre like a lot of people say Madoka did, but he ended up it just kind of evolved into that naturally on its own, you know, which is what's interesting.
Don't get me started on that.
Right.
all right. So and then you know what number one is. So
Gurren
whatever.
Lagann.
Yeah, who the hell do you think it was? Anyway, God, it is just so much fun. Like I
is.
just can't even like. It's the fun level. It's inspiring and it's fascinating and the characters are cool and Simo is like a great main character and
I really,
God, it is just the most fun.
I
I've ever
really
watched
struggled because I was kind of deciding between whether Gurren Lagann should be 6 and Legend of Galactic Heroes should be 7 on my list. I ended up going for Galactic Heroes over Gurren Lagann just because objectively Legend of Galactic Heroes is a better show, like it's better written. But then with Gurren Lagann, it's like it made me feel so much more and like inspirational.
A makes you feel stuff, and B that end fight scene, which proved that there is no ceiling, and C. It's just so much fun. Like, come on, what other thing have you watched if you had that much fun in watching?
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of like the final battle, like there's not much that can compare.
I just like
But
so much.
when
of the show.
when we watched the second the movies in a row for the podcast,
Yeah.
that's still one of my favorite like movie watching things we've
That
ever
was-
done.
wasn't it,
Because
though?
by the end of the second movie, we were all like so energetic
Yeah,
and screaming.
no, like watching it will just like inspire you. It will
And
pull.
then-
If
and
you were
then it
having a
broke
bad
Clara.
day, you were just like pulled right out of that bad day and punched it in the face. And you're like, no, I'm having a good day now.
Let's see you grit those teeth.
Exactly. And you punch that bad day in the face,
That's right.
and you pierce those heavens, and
Okay.
and then you make Clara
Get your
cry.
pierced heavens out of my face.
Pierce Clara's heart.
No.
Apparently.
No.
Okay, so based off of the list, I've kind of combined some things that I saw repeat on different people's lists. So based on that, we have Neon Genesis Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, Anohana, Code Geass, Clannad, Kill la Kill, Digimon Tamers, Fate Zero, Madoka, and Gurren Lagann. So those are the ones that like all of us had in different spots here
I have
and
all
there.
of those.
Yes, so this would make Andrew happy. But then there are some ones that like some of us ranked highly that are not, ones that other people have seen as much or haven't talked about as much. So maybe we could go around and kind of talk about those shows that we might want to see on there, ones we might just want to see. For myself, the highest ranked one I have on here that hasn't been represented is Full Alchemist Brotherhood. Has anyone else here seen the whole show?
Nope.
Nope.
Nah.
Yeah,
Nope.
so it might be a bit of a hard sell, but
I've seen up to episode 5, and then I said no
why?
because Hughes.
Well,
I
Hughes.
watched the original series. The original.
Oh,
Fullmetal
you watched
Alchemist.
all of the original series?
Not all of it. I watched about half of it.
I see. Well, because the funny thing is, I actually got into Full Metal through the original series because my sister's friend brought it home one day, and I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, anime is like more than magical girl shows and DBZ." Like that,
Crazy.
kinda
Yeah.
it blew my mind at the time. But Brotherhood, I think, is actually far superior to the first TV show, and some people disagree with me on that. But whatever.
Really? 'Cause I thought that was like the general consensus amongst like everybody that I've ever talked to about this subject.
I think Brotherhood is kind of the popular opinion, but there are a lot of people, like especially people who are more quote unquote critical critics, will say that Full Alchemist is better because it like was a more smaller scale focused story that did like darker things, but we won't go into that. The thing I love so much about Brotherhood is just that it is like everything that I love about anime all put into one show. It has good comedy, it has a good plot, it has great action, great animation, good music, great characters that you just come to love by the end, and it builds to like, the best part of the show. My favorite part is like the last 12 episodes where they storm Central and get into this big final battle where like all of the biggest players in the show are going at it. And it just spends the time, like it spends an episode and a half like wrapping things up. Because I've seen so many shows where like they beat the final boss and then like things just end. I like the fact that they took the time to like wrap up all the character arcs and like make us feel like the story is ended, even though like it is continuing on for our characters and they are still going on this journey, but our time with them is over, but I feel satisfied with that. Like, few anime have made me feel as like accomplished when I finished it than Full Alchemist Brotherhood did. So that's why it is one of my favorites. Claire, is there one you'd like to pitch?
Psychopath.
I figured you'd want to pitch Psychopaths. That's another one I have at like, I think number like 17 on my list. It's one that's very good. Not the most amazing thing ever, but especially in the second half once Makishima starts becoming more of a threat.
The Shonen Man.
I will say that I know you've made it through like most of Psychopaths, right, Andrew? But then stopped.
I want to say 16.
16. Then you saw episode 11, which is the one where Makishima gives Akane the gun when he's got her friend hostage.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that episode so much. That sold me on him as a villain because he is a douchewagon. It's great.
100% douchewagon.
Shonen Man. He's got all his handcuffs.
All those. Why do you have those with you at all times?
All right. So, is there anything more you want to say about Psychopaths, Clara?
Akane is best character forever.
She is.
Like, it's just, I have so many emotions about this show too. Like, all the characters, and then Gino's transformation, and then his relationship with his dad. And, there are just so many. The only complaint I have is that they did not go in depth much about, what's her name? Blonde, pretty lady.
Yeah, the computer lady.
We know that she does computer stuff, and that in the end, she and what's her name are the girlfriends, sort of.
Right. Well, we knew that back in episode 2, like.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was confirmed girlfriends.
Well, that's true.
But it never really went in depth. But even then, we knew that, like, I am so bad at their names when they're not the main. This is why I don't remember their names.
Yeah.
I remember everybody else's name.
Yayoi is
That's right.
black-haired girl.
I forget the other girl though, and I really liked her, and I wished the entire series they did more with her.
Yeah, they also didn't do they did some stuff with Kagari, but we didn't really learn as much about him as we could have.
But he was my fresh baby. I loved him.
Well, he was your
He
fresh
had
baby.
little hair clips.
He
was so cute.
They have little hair clips. The scene where he drank with Akane is great.
Yeah, they bonded, and it was
But
cute.
I will agree, Akane is like a really good protagonist for me, just because of how much she changes over the course of the show.
Like,
putting on the
she's
big
just
girl
like-
pants
Yeah,
by
she's
the
like,
end.
well, someone's got to do it, and like her whole I was the only one that could get this job, so I applied for the job, so I'm going to do my job. So bye. And like, she just did her thing, and she grew, and she learned how to kick butt, and she bonded with people and wasn't biased and was awesome. And I just love this series so much.
All right. Pete, is there anything you want to mention?
No, everything I really want to fight for is on the list. I mean, Diebuster / Gunbuster is a good pairing, and I feel like at the very least they deserve to be somewhere near the bottom if we can fit them in. It's a really, really compelling set duo, so I recommend it.
Yeah, I could go with that. Chase, what would you say?
Lots, but I guess I'll go with Utena.
I figured. I don't think these guys know that much about Utena, so
Yeah.
give them a quick lesson on why it's good.
Let's see here. Do you want a quick plot synopsis or why I
Yeah.
think it's really
Plot
good?
synopsis.
Okay. Lots goes on, but I'll try to explain as best I can. Basically, there's a middle schooler who met a prince, and she loved what he did so much, she decides to become a prince. And as a prince, she goes to a school where she learns of this hierarchy of various prince-esque figures with this princess-esque figure, and she's basically going to fight for that princess-esque character, fight for her, and basically protect her. Then things go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've kind of spoiled some things for me about Utena because I watched some of Yezo Otaku's videos on it back in the day, and I know what it gets to later on, with Akio and the Rose Bride and that sorts of things.
The Rose Bride was what I was talking about.
Yeah, it gets into some pretty dark, very philosophical stuff. Ikuhara with his visual
also
symbolism.
Really, really funny when it wants to. That's the one aspect of for some reason everyone forgets. The show is incredibly hilarious too. I'll say this: animals are involved in this, and they do some pretty silly things in it.
Everyone loves silly animals.
Of course.
Well, get ready.
Poohee.
When you see these silly animals, it's going to stick with you.
All right.
I'll say that.
Andrew, is there something you want to pitch?
All right. Since all of my things are on this.
Man, Andrew's just taking control.
All right. There is one that needs to be on the list because I fought for it last time. What?
I call hacks.
Yeah, okay.
Clearly.
Well, you're going to
Don't
be able to
bully
call I want Digimon. I'm going to fight
Well,
for Tamers this time.
Well, Tamers is on here already.
I know
Go.
Tamers is on here, but I really, really want
Play
Tamers to be on
alarms.
here.
Play alarms and great joy.
right.
I don't know, like to add to the list. Is there another one that I liked a lot?
Don't bully Andrew.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, those are like the really, really good ones. Like out beyond that, we get into like I mean, like there's still good shows territory, but like the less good shows, like
I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that you watched for the podcast
there's
that was
lots of those
good.
things. I mean, like just things that like I liked, but like I wasn't like in love with. Which was like my problem because like there's like Gargantia, No Game No Life, and the Angel Beats earlier in the year.
Although I still remember how
I
on the very
was really
first one we did a top 3 list, and your number 3 anime was Angel Beats,
I had seen
and
like
Matt
all
freaked
of
out.
5 anime in my life by that point.
Yes, well,
Angel
you've
Beats wasn't
you've
horrendous, but I
was-
enjoyed it.
oh,
It's good.
It's not horrendous. It's actually I think it's great.
I
It's
really
flawed,
want-
but it's great.
I
is
really
flawed,
want girl
but
demo
great.
music.
You could actually buy it off iTunes.
I know, but I don't have money or iProducts.
That's true. That's fair. All right. So going off of this, then I'm going to go through what we have again. I think we have 14 shows here, if I count it up right. We have
Yep.
Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, Anohana, Code Geass, Clannad, Kill la Kill, Digimon Tamers, Fate Zero, Madoka, Gurren Lagann, Brotherhood, Psycho Pass, Gunbuster / Diebuster, and Revolutionary Girl Utena. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. I was right. Okay, so do we want to add any more to this list or call it good there and kind of try to get it down to 10?
Let's start
Narrow
slimming,
it
boys
down.
and lady.
Yeah, that's
Yay!
Okay.
I was
'cause-
included.
Yeah, I will say because like with your list, Chase, like I've seen some of the things you mentioned, like Penguin Drum, Space Dandy is one I really liked myself. Seen Yurikuma, obviously.
Indian space.
So I would have been on board with Space Dandy as well.
Space Jackie.
I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and add that just for shits and giggles.
fine.
Even
Alrighty.
15.
Yes, even at 15, even
Top
though we'll probably immediately get crossed
top
off the list.
15.
Even
podcast.
though 15 is an odd number.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and push for Gunbuster / Diebuster since we've now combined them into one thing because that's the way personally I like to view them since they both fit together a lot, especially Diebuster has a lot of references to Gunbuster that I feel like you need in order to make certain things kind of come full circle. So that's one I'd like to see get on there. Maybe at the number 10 spot. Like it doesn't have to be super high, but I'd like to see that get on there myself.
I think it does deserve at least a 10 spot, but
Yeah, might as well.
I don't know. Andrew, you saw Gunbuster,
actually.
and you haven't seen Diebuster.
I did see Gunbuster. I was iffy on Gunbuster. Like it does some cool. It has some cool ideas.
To be
It's
fair, you guys both watched it in not the best environment because Jeremy and Tristan and I were poking fun at things.
but there was also a lot wrong with the show, like
80s.
a lot.
I would have made the '80s jokes regardless.
That's fine. And honestly, I was okay with like the first 4 episodes us going
Top
into
Gun, and
But-
then it was what else was it? It was Top Gun, and then
Karate Kid.
and then it was Karate Kid.
It's Guy Next. What you expect?
But 5 and 6, like that's where like the good, more like dramatic stuff is, and that's where I started to get a little
that's when Ano
frustrated.
takes over.
Well, I mean, Ano was there from the beginning. That's just where it becomes
Right.
more Ano, really.
More Ano. I mean, for a show about Gunbuster, he doesn't show up till the end of the 4th episode.
Till the 4th episode. It's
Yeah,
true, but
that was weird.
it's
And
interesting.
then why? And then you question why didn't you build more Gunbusters? Because it's just winning this war.
yeah, we talked about that on the podcast. But-
Anyway.
and then I can also get behind Psychopaths because I have seen all
I
Psychopaths.
also can get behind Psychopaths because, like, though I've not finished it, I know that's the kind. Like, I really want to finish it because I know that's the thing that I'm going to be in love with by
I'll
the end.
watch it with you.
Because
Yes,
I
you will.
love. That's actually helped motivate me.
Yeah, then it gets into some great like philosophy stuff.
Yeah, and it gets into the Arabushi style philosophy plus psychology is kind of my thing, and also, yeah, I like the characters a lot.
Also, yeah.
Also,
All right,
yes.
So I'm gonna cross Dandy and Brotherhood off of here, just because I feel like it'll be hard to get support from them because
you're already shooting Brotherhood in the head, Alex. You gave up so easily.
I
Might as well cross off Utena too.
I wanted to leave Utena as a possibility because I do know like I've only seen the first episode of myself. Wasn't like the hugest fan of the first episode, but I know it
Right.
gets better later, and I've seen
Right.
these things about it. And I know it is one that a lot of people would have on a top 10 list because it is very historically up there.
Well,
So
I don't know about historically, but sure.
Really? I know. I mean, I see a lot of people talk about it as
sure,
like this
people talk
classic.
about it, but it's not like a series that like revolutionized the anime industry or anything.
Not revolutionized it like commercially, but I think it is interesting how you've talked about like creatively. A lot of the people who worked under Uno went on to do different things,
Yeah.
like the Star Driver director and Yoji and
Some people
Okito.
from Steven Universe has claimed it as a favorite of theirs.
Well, I know there's that duel scene from Steven Universe that was like a direct shot by shot reference
Yeah,
to
in fact,
Una.
someone asked the creator if she was a fan of Naruto, and then she said, "Yeah, I am."
All right.
So there's that.
Cool. So that's we've narrowed down from 15 to 13. So we have Psychopass, Gunbuster / Diebuster, and Utna, along with our other 10 that we had from our lists: Evangelion, Bebop, Anohana, Code Geass, Clannad, Kill la Kill, Tamers, Fate Zero, Madoka, and Gurren Lagann. So
I think
something's
from
gonna have
how
to give
you-
way here.
I think from how you guys have been talking about Psychopass and how everything I've heard, I'm willing to let Gunbuster, Diebuster slip under Psychopass for 10.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I do on my list. Psychopass is like 17ish, and then Gunbuster's like 25 or something like that. Like Gunbuster, Diebuster are very good, but Psychopass
Not a
is
big
better.
Psychopass guy, but that show's like really popular right now, and people really like it. And I found it
Have you,
enjoyable. Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. I thought it was enjoyable, but I'm not a big Urobuchi guy, so just go with it.
Okay, interesting. So we'll kind of nail in Psychopass maybe for a possible number 10.
I have my opinions on Urobuchi, but I'm going to save it for another time.
I guess let's look here as terms of rankings. Let's see. Andrew had Kill la Kill at 7, Clara had it at 4, and Pete had it at 6. So, and like I said, I have it at like 15. Like it's, close to my top 10, but just not quite there. Because for me, like Kill la Kill was like excellent. Like I really loved it while watching it. It doesn't take until the second half for it to like pick up a plot. We talked about that on the podcast.
I like it, but I have no desire to revisit it, honestly.
Interesting. So you did watch the whole thing?
I did, even the OVA.
I mean, that is actually an interesting point. It is a hard one to go back to, considering just like once you know how crazy it gets, it's not the easiest one to go back to.
I will say, because I have actually gone back to it because I've been watching the English dub as it's come out in 4-episode, 5-episode chunks. The English dub is actually like excellent, like one of my favorite English dubs I've heard in a while.
I didn't get my beach episode,
The
so I'm sad.
the voice actors
Why
for
did you need a beach episode from
Because
Kill la
I
Kill?
wanted a date episode with Gamagori and Maka.
now that's
Well,
fair.
I want that to exist.
Yeah.
'Cause
Fun fact,
that's-
the writer said he had no intentions to like ship them.
I know. It
Well,
makes me
that's
sad.
too bad, because I am.
But what was I gonna say?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're shipmaster again.
Something about Madoka's voice actor.
Yeah, Madoka's voice actress Christina Marie Cabanos is actually the English voice for Mako, and she does great with it. Like super hyperactive, and it's perfect. I
Apparently,
love it.
there was something happened with her in like one episode, dubbing it.
Right. I think I remember what's her name at Katsucon talking about that.
Yeah. Oh, really? I did it. Christina Fee?
Yeah, Christina V. Because I asked her a question about Kill la Kill. Because Christina V is actually in it. She voices Homaru, Raggio's assistant lady with the big glasses.
And I was there with you in that room when she described it, I think.
Yeah, I remember her talking about that. So, Kill la Kill, like, that's one I love a lot, too. So, it is deserving of being up high, even if I don't have it at the most top thing.
I would be cool if it wasn't super high, too. Like, I enjoyed it, but you brought up a good point. Like, while watching, like, the dub with a bunch of people, I'm just like, well, I want it to get to later.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the now. I want to do the later episodes.
It's a great audience pleaser, but when you sit by yourself, something feels off.
I don't know. I mean, I watched it by myself a lot because I was watching like week to week as it came out on Crunchyroll, and that was one thing. Like Thursdays last year were a lot of fun just because I looked forward to it so much, except when they were delayed because of production issues.
That was an interesting time period.
It was. Also, one we should probably talk about a bit is Evangelion. You can go listen to the Evangelion podcast where I went into my feelings about Evangelion.
Yeah, go listen to that one because I really don't have the energy today for that.
So,
See,
because for my
I
sorry,
read.
Claire.
Oh, sorry. I read Ava. I haven't seen a lot. You guys have shown me some movies.
Oh, yeah,
I
you did
haven't
watch the rebuilds with us,
watched a whole lot of it, but I have read it, and I do very much like Ava. So even though I haven't seen it, I would advocate it to have a pretty high spot.
All right, interesting. So you read the manga version?
I did.
See, I've read the manga as
Did you
well.
watch all of the rebuilds, or did you just watch 3? I guess I know you watched 3
I
with
watched
us.
the ones that were at your house.
Did you just watch 3 with us though? Because like I
the
don't think we
one
screened
with,
1 and 2.
The Shinji.
Grabbing the spears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3.
that one.
Yeah, you only
That
watched
was probably a little
3.
confusing
1 and
then.
2 were like...
Don't do the thing. Do the thing.
Don't be Varric. Don't do it.
I can only imagine how confused you were.
Don't
I was
get
pretty
in the robot,
confused, but I
Shinji.
had read most of it, so
Yeah. Because
It goes in a different direction.
it
'Cause
does.
for me, like, I think Ava's a good anime. Like I went into the podcast, has too many flaws for me to consider to be like great. It's like one of the greatest of all time. But with this sort of group, we have 5 people, so a vote of 3 is a majority vote, and Claire is voting for it too. So it deserves to be on the list. I would maybe petition for it to be maybe in the like bottom 5, like 6 through 10, rather than top 5 category.
Yeah,
Depends what we shove in
Might
the top
as
5.
well.
So just gonna throw that out there. I feel like we need to, because right now we're at 12 right now because we still have Psychopaths and Utna kind of in that void area, and I think we decided like Psychopaths deserves to be on the list.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go with that. The question is then, what do we knock off in place of Psychopaths amongst Ava, Bebop, Anohana, Gias, Clannad, Kill la Kill,
Anohana?
Tamers,
I
Fate
would be
Zero,
okay with Anohana being
Madoka,
knocked off.
and
Maybe one of the Digimon series.
Good luck with that.
There's only one Digimon series on that list, and I fought too hard last time for this.
Andrew did fight hard last year and lost. I think he's gonna pitch hard for it this time.
I have support this time.
Yes, I am a bigger fan of the entire series than him. I have seen all of them except for the most recent ones because those are trash.
And Tamers is one that I didn't really watch much of as a kid because I kind of grown up from Digimon by that point, but I do hear very good things about it. Apparently, though, the middle arc where they like are in the digital world and wandering around isn't the best.
There are skippable episodes in there. I will admit that there's
There are
some
skippable
really
episodes.
really dead
But the show
episodes.
is like, what, 52 episodes long? How long is it? This is long.
yeah,
it's not like
yeah,
an
52
insignificant-
does sound about right if I remember
It is
correctly.
like in the 50s, so there are, of course, like bad episodes in existence of any TV show.
right.
So, especially when you get that long. But I wouldn't fight for Tamers. No, I mean, we can kick Anohana off. That's fine.
All right.
Or that was number 10. So,
Yeah, I mean, Anohana's number 11 for me, so it's close to being on the
I
top
like
10.
that show a lot.
I
Yes.
love it. One of my favorite last episodes of like any series ever.
Exactly. It has
That
a
last
beautiful
episode.
ending. Where's
Okay, so we're taking Anohana off, so that leaves us then. We got to decide what we're doing with Utna. Does Utna deserve to be on the top 10?
It sounds cool. I really don't know.
Yeah,
It
the reason
sounds
why
cool.
I just want to kick it out because I think I'm the only one who's seen like all of it. So
You are the only one who's seen all of it. So, sorry, Chase. I tried.
How many episodes is it?
39.
39.
Yeah, I mean, it's one I want to watch.
39 in
eventually.
the movie.
How
movie
worth
is
it, how worth
quite
it
a
is the
thing.
movie though? Because is it like a
Uh,
recap movie or?
Basically,
It's not a recap movie.
I'll say this about the movie. A lot of people want to say it's a sequel, but to save your sanity, consider it a separate movie.
Okay, cool.
Like an alternate reality
Like
kind of end of
it's
Eva.
consider it like the Madoka movies.
Cool.
Well, Rebellion though is like definitely a sequel to the TV show. Now the recap movies are kind of like an alternate universe because like
Well,
Saika has a pin in her hair.
Didn't like the Shimbo says that like they're an alternative universe.
Well, technically, the movies 1 and 2 are a recap of the TV show that are technically like a different universe because things play out slightly differently. And like Sayaka has like a pin in her hair that she did in the TV show. So, and like in Rebellion, she has that pin in her hair. So like technically, Rebellion is a sequel to the movies rather than the TV show, but they tell essentially the same story. So it's fine to view Rebellion as a sequel to the TV show.
So yeah,
too.
like I said, it's like the Madoka movies. Just if you wanted to see it as a sequel, it's a sequel.
Cool.
If it's
There we go.
separate, it's separate.
Okay, so then we've gotten our 10 then. Psychopaths, Evangelion, Bebop, Code Geass, Clannad, Kill la Kill, Digimon Tamers, Fate Zero, Madoka, and Gurren Lagann.
Pete, we got it on the list this time.
Goal.
So based on people's rankings of various things, I feel like Bebop, Madoka, Gurren Lagann, and Clannad should all probably be pretty high.
Yeah.
Better
And-
be.
I
and-
feel like
Fate Zero maybe too, because like a lot of us had those
I
in
I
high places.
feel like Clannad, like considering the number of times Madoka was marked second on people's lists, I feel like it really should be at the very least number 2, and Cowboy Bebop should not be far behind that.
Okay, so
That makes sense.
we'll put Madoka and Bebop as tops for the time being. You know, Psychopaths maybe being one we leave up around that number 10 position since
That's
it kind of
Yeah.
squeezed its way in there.
As long as Clannad is no lower than 5, I will be fine.
Oh, there is a stipulation that's being made.
All right. So tell you what, we'll just write that down here. Psychopaths number 10, since
Okay.
it's the one that
That
made it
Makes sense.
on to the
Da-da-da-da.
list.
Holy
So
heck, guys, we just made a decision.
I know,
Oh.
right?
Gasp!
Democracy.
No, we have to stop those now. It's going
Waffling. I
extremely long
demand that
tangents.
something else be number
Quick,
10.
do the tangent meter.
That's reminding me of that great scene from Code Geass. Then let the democratic process begin.
I love that.
I love that
that.
scene.
Speaking of Code Geass, what do you think?
Code Geass.
Bottom five?
I mean, I think it's more bottom 5 than top 5.
I
Certainly.
mean, like, I'm not like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very low. It's like number 9 on my list.
I mean,
so
the fact that it took to season 2 to really get going for a
Well,
lot of people.
no. It was always good. There's just a lot of throwaway, trashy episodes in
Yuffie.
one.
yeah, and honestly, for
And
me,
also
like,
Yuffie. That was in the episode. That was season 1.
Yuffie.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
Honestly, I lost interest.
oh, so you've seen some of Code Geass?
I think up to like 16, I want to say. I blanked.
Why? Just because you don't like the
No, I,
action take over the world kind of story?
after a while, I just realized this is getting pretty stupid and just left it.
It's got some stupid stuff to it. I'm not gonna lie. It's not always the smartest show in the world, but it's over the top and it's fun.
Yeah, I'll probably finish it one of these days, but I don't have
And-
interest right now.
As Andrew says, stop sign languaging
I'm
over here,
sign
guys.
languaging bacteria.
Bacteria.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought we were
Yes.
going squids.
No, bacteria.
I was going jellyfish.
We could do squids too. For me, like, I definitely think R2, the second season, is better than the first season of Code Geass.
Yes.
Because it
by
is.
lots.
Although some people would disagree with that, because some people think R2 is like bad. But
What?
Yep. No.
Who are
You'll,
those people?
you'll find.
Oh, I know those people.
Yep. No, they're on the internet. You can find them.
I know them.
But
Why is it that you know all the people on the internet that are wrong?
Andrew, you're not looking hard enough. Trust me.
I try not to because
If you don't look, you don't get angry.
exactly. It's denial.
Willful ignorance. But yeah, so Code Geass season 1 still gets into some great things. Where do I have it at number 9? No, is it number 9 on my list? I think it is. Yes,
That's where-
it is number
That's
9.
where I have it on mine, so you should just put it 9.
Let's see. There's
Fine.
There's
Number
a,
9.
A majority of us, so might as well put it somewhere on there.
Code
Yep.
Geass. All right. Then I'm also gonna say, I know you guys love Tamers, and it should be on this
Yeah.
Oh
list.
no, I'm fine with it being
Yeah.
on the bottom side of the list because none of you have
Yeah.
seen it and are obsessed with it. But
So I don't know. Would you be
8?
opposed to 8
8's
for
fine, yeah.
Tamers?
I'm fine with 8.
Eight's fine. It's
That's
on the
a
list.
whole. That's above. It's above a thing.
Yeah, it's above 11 like it was last time.
You still have bad memories of that.
Yeah.
It's okay, Andrew.
Okay, and then so that we can cross those ones off the list here.
Kill la Kill.
Maybe Ava. Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh. Are we trying to say the Kill la Kill is better than the Ava?
I would definitely say so. That's just me,
Yeah,
though.
Go for it.
Oh, no. I'm actually on the Ava is better than the Kill la Kill side. Somebody side with me.
I actually would agree. I feel like Ava's telling a more complex and
In-
interesting
yeah.
story.
Well, in case of Pete, you have Kill la Kill number 6, Ava number 5, so they're pretty close.
They're different series. I'm not bothering.
Yeah, I mean,
Clara?
totally
Well,
very different.
Simon, you watched the Kill la Kills and you've read the Avas. What do you think?
Ava higher than Kill la Kill.
Really?
you.
Even though you have Kill la Kill ranked at number 4. It's
I
one
do,
of your favorites.
but it was fun. But
It is fun. That's why I like it.
it wasn't as just.
Well, I mean, we're gonna say
It wasn't as much as Ava though. Like if I would have seen all of Ava, it would be so much higher.
Well, I will say you've read the manga because I've read the manga too. The manga is significantly different from the TV show in certain details. Like, they actually kill a character that they probably should have killed in the TV
I
show.
agree with that.
I
But-
agree. Yeah.
It
So-
also has a happy ending.
It
What?
does, and I actually like the manga ending. That's a
the
thing.
ending?
We need to look into that.
Like, I should read that now.
They did
you
stop
should.
publishing Volume 10. That's a thing.
The internet exists.
Yeah.
It does exist. All right, I've clearly been outvoted here. So Kill la Kill 7, Ava 6. Then.
Aye.
Yes.
So now we're getting to the top 5, which leaves us with Clannad, Fate Zero, Gurren Lagann, Madoka, and Bebop.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd probably say Fate Zero 5. I have Fate
Yeah.
Zero at number 10 on my
I have
list.
mine at 5, so yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Sure,
It's
go for it.
pretty and compelling. I enjoyed it a lot. 5 sounds good to me.
All right. Sounds good to me. So that leaves us with Madoka, Bebop, Gurren Lagann, and what's the other one?
Clannad?
Yes.
I say Clannad.
Yeah,
I-
Clannad should
yeah,
be the next
I'm
one.
okay with that.
Yeah,
Really?
4.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann, honestly.
No.
You're not going to...
If you're gonna say Gurren Lagann, I'm great with you, but
Yes, no, come on, Clara. We need to fight for Clannad.
okay, I'll
All
fight
right.
for Clannad.
All right, hold on, because Pete and I are gonna vote for Gurren Lagann because that's our number 1. Jace,
Uh-huh.
We need you. Decide vote. Clannad
Well,
or Gurren
how
Lagann?
much have you
I
seen
will
of
give
Clannad or
you
Gurren
A
Lagann?
pretty decent high
Gurren Lagann,
five.
like 4 episodes, 5.
I
Kanad,
think it's
like
episode 8.
I don't know, like 4. So I haven't seen much of either.
Right.
I will
So.
draw you a pretty sweet picture of your face.
She can do nice drawings.
can
She
draw
has something to
pictures.
I
sell
believe
you.
bribery is
I
going
believe-
on.
Yeah, I believe we're
Makes
trying to
you say
bribe
that.
the democracy thing, and we're trying to let the democratic process
Okay,
begin.
here's what I'm going to say about the two, because obviously I love Gurren Lagann. It is the most inspirational anime I've ever seen. But
Beep boop.
nothing in Gurren Lagann made me feel as much as Clannad did. Like, Clannad...
see, there were different feelings. There were different.
No, like,
See,
the
because Clannad
feelings...
reached to the depths of sadness and heartbreak, while Gurren Lagann reached into the depths of fire in my heart that needs to pierce through those heavens. God damn it, all those stars.
That is true. There are different kinds
Those
of...
are two very different, very powerful emotions.
They are
Maybe-
different kinds of powerful emotions.
Maybe we should roll dice.
But at least, let me
Okay.
let me give my little argument first.
No, he's
and
got
if,
an argument thing.
if the argument doesn't work, then we can roll some dice or something. But because Clannad is actually like in the real world, I feel like it was able to connect with me in like my real life in certain ways. Like the whole thing about how he doesn't find the burden of work a pain, it's a joy because he's got Nagisa waiting for him at home, and he's got like somebody worth like doing all of that for. Like that hit me hard as far as like that's like a true fact of life,
And that
man.
entire episode just flew in front of my eyes, and I just got attacked with feelings.
Yeah, and like Clannad also has the distinction of having one of the few pieces of music that will like make me cry every time I listen to it. The Warm, the piano version of the Nango song, which is like the saddest and most beautiful thing in the world. So that would be my argument. I don't know. What would you say about in response about Gurren Lagann?
All of the lights in the sky are my enemies.
Yes, but all of the lights in Clannad are wishes, and they bring certain characters to
What?
spoilers.
This is
Okay.
a show where all the lights in the sky are my enemies.
So
Yes,
Is
but
like-
Gurren
what this
Lagann
comes down to
says-
is you guys like romance and slice of life things. And while this is the best one of those,
It is.
we don't like those, so we are going to go for the action option.
I was gonna. I had a thing with this. You ruined my
Okay,
thing.
go ahead.
All the lights in the sky are my enemies. And this is the only time, literally the only time in anything that I have ever seen ever, where they actually mean that. That is not a metaphor. That is not
Well,
like an
but there's a whole
over-exaggeration.
theory
That
about-
is a thing.
that the Simon who says that in episode 1 is like a Simon who like lost Kamina and like
We're
didn't
aware.
do all those
Oh,
things
no,
and was
we're
like
super-
evil and
Oh
stuff.
no, we're super aware, but like, still, I maintain that is not like hyperbole. This is like a good example of like, no. Whenever I show people this show, I turn to them and say, okay, you see that? See what he just said there? Yeah. He's not being metaphorical about that, saying he's outnumbered. He literally means that.
He will kill everything.
He will literally destroy all of those things because of reasons.
All right. So Clara, do you have a way to decide on this? You said something about a dice.
I can roll dice. I
have
have
a die roller
physical
right now.
dice, or Peter has his app dice.
All right. Well, whichever is faster.
2 is Gurren Lagann, 1 is Clannad.
What about the
whichever-
other 4?
Can
Oh,
we just
I was doing this for the next.
How about we just do even or odd?
can we just like flip a
It's
coin,
a head.
guys?
It's a 1 or 2 die. It's just
Oh, I see.
yeah.
I got a D3 right now, so there. Okay, so
1.
do you want to push it or you want me to push it?
Go ahead.
Wait, you're impartial. You push the roll button.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Top left-hand corner. This one.
Just push the roll button. Tell us the number.
Okay, push this button.
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Push the button.
1.
Wait.
Clannad.
Clannad.
Hey. All
Clannad
right.
Gets
1.
So
One.
Gurren Lagann,
Oh.
number 4.
Ah.
Clannad, number 3. Yeah.
We
Both-
can say
both
that
are good
they're.
options.
We can say they're on the same plane, but alphabetically, Clannad does come first.
Well, Gurren Lagann is
C becomes 4G.
also Gurren Lagann is not controlled by planes. It cannot be confined.
We go through all the universes.
moving on.
So many
All
people
right.
died when those universes were thrown.
Yeah.
So many beings
No.
They
were
were- it
shut
was a
down.
spiral universe
Well-
created for their fight.
Exactly. There was an actual people there.
You
They
don't
were-
know
they were
that.
real people. Their life force was creating that universe for them to fight
Okay.
it.
Come on.
All right.
Anyways.
And so for 1 and 2, we have Bebop and Madoka. For myself, based on my own list, I would say Bebop 2, Madoka 1. What would everyone else say?
I agree. Go
Everyone
for it.
else who had seen both put Bebop below Madoka, so let's go with that.
Maguga.
All right. So for the second year in a row, Maguka is number 1.
See, that's interesting though, like that we have placed something above like the legendary and great.
Personally,
Cowboy
I
Bebop.
disagree, but whatever.
I don't know. I mean, like, I put Madoka higher than Bebop, but it was not by like a large margin.
Well, yeah,
It
for
was
you
like
it's
a
2 and
very
3. For me,
thin-
it's 1 and 2.
There's a very thin margin between those two.
I mean, Bebop is great, but nothing quite touches Madoka for me personally. Chase, I know you've seen Madoka. What are your kind of thoughts on it?
Let's see. I'll put it this way. I've seen Sailor Moon. It does it better, or at least it affected me more.
Like, so Sailor Moon did Magical Girls better than Madoka?
Okay, I think I misspoke when I said better. Like, if you give me the choice between Sailor Moon and Madoka, I'll go with Sailor Moon.
Right.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay. That's fair. You know, Sailor Moon's there for certain kinds of people. I'm not personally a huge fan.
Yeah,
but-
Sailor Moon is basically for people who want to escape from reality. Madoka's from people who want to embrace reality.
That's right. No escape from the Ura Butcher. It's impossible. All right, so can we have a little drum roll for our new top 10, please? Very nice. All right, that's enough. Number 10, Psycho Pass. Number 9, Code Geass. Number 8, Digimon Tamers. Number 7, Kill la Kill. Number 6, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Number 5, Fate Zero. Number 4, Gurren Lagann. Number 3, Clannad. Number 2, Cowboy Bebop. And number 1, Madoka Magica.
Yay!
So, not bad. I'm a little sad I wasn't able to get either Brotherhood or Steins Gate on here because those are two of my all-time.
on
It's
Brotherhood
number
so
11
early.
and 12.
If I would have seen it, I probably would have agreed with you, but I have a hard time getting past Hughes. That hurt a lot. It was in a rough part of my life.
I do. I definitely. All of you guys need to watch Steins Gate because I know for a
will.
fact that if you saw it, you would love it.
He drinks Dr.
I
Pepper,
confer
right?
that.
He does drink Dr. Pepper.
Confirm I
It-
will watch this.
It's the drink of science.
It is the drink of science.
Chase, I know you've seen Steins Gate.
Andrew
Oh,
can
yeah, I
confirm.
have.
Is
What?
it
Can
near?
confirm.
Is
Can't
it near
confirm.
your top 10 or?
Did you see the NN podcast about it?
I haven't listened to that one yet, actually.
I have.
Well, what?
Surprisingly, I think I probably match with like Sack's opinions on it. Not exactly, but close to his than like the others.
Okay, I do have to listen to that one. I've been falling behind on the ANN ones recently. Okay, so and then for final piece of conversation, I was kind of wondering because on like the last one of these that we did a discussion of like our favorite Shred Cells moments. You know, I'm wondering if should we do that now or save that for like the last episode that we do.
We can do
in,
a
like, 2
teaser
weeks.
now.
We can
Like
do a teaser.
one.
Save it for 2 weeks.
Save it for 2
We
weeks.
can
I'd
say
say save
one. We can say one thing now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say because on the last ones that we've done of these, the same as before, the one where we called Clara on the phone.
No,
Or
I
what we call
called.
it-
No, I
We
wanted you to
call-
say
Where we
it.
called Kenny to get Clara to say Spooky Boogie. Still my favorite episode.
Clara, come on.
but in terms of
say
what's-
it. You said so long.
For old times, Clara?
Just because you put Clannad higher than Gurren Lagann. Spooky Boogie.
Yes. But like since the last time we did this was episode 50, you know, now we're 25 episodes later. And in the course of those 25 episodes, we've had some good episodes. One of my favorites being the one we did recently to wrap up book 4 of Korra, because we just got like so happy talking about like all the
Ugh,
ships that came
yes.
through
Confirm for
and
ship.
and the
Confirm for
awesome
girlfriends.
and the awesome explosions and awesomeness that was the finale, and we got into some good like discussion about like where it stacked up to the seasons and Avatar, and that was just a really good podcast. I really like that one. Clara, one of your favorite moments?
Oh man. Well, while it was a trying time for me, calling Kenny did end up making me say Spooky Boogie. But something that was funny, but maybe not for me, was when Kenny decided to enforce the Heimberger law, which is if a projectile object is projecting itself somewhere, it will hit me. So
I do remember
Is
one time
confirmed.
the bottle cap hit you in the
that
face.
was it. That was it.
Is confirmed.
So Kenny hit the stupid bottle, and the bottle cap hits me in the eye. So I don't know what he was expecting, to be honest, but that was pretty funny.
I do remember that. Pete, one of your favorite moments.
I wasn't present for it, but I am amused that the Ava debate was so heated that it is still spoken of.
Is it still spoken of?
it
Yes.
It is still vaguely it is still spoken of in reverence.
It was a good podcast. I have never written more notes and done more research for anything for a
no,
podcast.
apparently there was that stack that you brought that I still have
Yep.
in my drawer.
Well, that was Chase, not me.
I'm surprised I'm surprised you're actually bothered to not read it yet.
I looked through it a little bit. Oh,
That's a long
Honestly,
read.
I'm surprised you haven't read it yet.
it's long.
I know.
I like the donga, Clara. Thank you. All right, Chase. I know you've been on many, but
Yeah, I guess when you guys say the Pokemon theme,
That was
Yay.
fun.
Which one?
Well, we're like way back in like episode 2 we did one, or actually that was episode 1. Like we did it spontaneously, and then Eric started recording, so we got like half of it in the episode.
Oh,
but then
God, no.
there were the times we did Johto, or we sang Pokemon Johto. We sang the original one when we did Pokemon the first movie.
Can I change mine?
Sure.
It was my first podcast, and I got to record you guys singing the Soul Eater theme.
Yes.
And it was the silliest thing. Because they got into the na-na-na-nas pretty hard.
They
I suppose
did. That
in
was our first
retrospect,
podcast.
it probably wasn't the best thing for like a new member of Tech Ed to like weird you out with how
No,
anime nerdy
I
we were.
was never so happy.
I remember that 'cause
Aw.
that was my first podcast too. 'Cause it was the first time we did Korra.
Yeah, it was the first time you guys did Korra. We did Korra in the first
I mean,
year too.
But we did Korra together. That
It
was
took
our first
so much
podcast.
courage for me to be like, can I be on that podcast?
Aw.
I was
Well,
like,
and then
I don't watch animes, but I watch the Korras.
and then their life was changed
Forever.
forever. All right, Andrew, what would
Now
you
I'm a
say?
character. Anyway, I don't know. We could talk about the Ava rant that goes in reference apparently, occasionally.
It is in the hollowed halls of fame. Apparently,
is.
It is.
That's what they're saying.
I don't know.
I haven't heard anyone talk about it. So
No, I mean,
don't know
I
where
hear
I
you guys
could-
talk about how insane it was.
Yeah, it was that.
All I remember is that
It was a good podcast.
all I remember is screaming at me, like whispering to one of the guys, "I've been doing this for too long. I know to stay out of this," or something along those lines.
Oh, if you think I was screaming on that, you haven't seen me screaming, my friend. I just have a loud voice.
He
Oh.
is
Yeah.
just loud. No, like we just got into it. Which I mean, like, not that it was bad. It's just that like, I don't know. It's not like it's speaking of reference though, but like it's. I don't know, how do I say that? It's something that like happened. It was really cool. It was a good podcast. It was a good episode. I got really into that, so I got really invested really quickly for reasons that I'm not entirely sure of, but
Yes.
still.
Well, and it was a good match for you because you are a psychology major, and that's all. It was all about that.
It is
So,
all about that.
Thank you guys for being here.
about that
So
psych.
for next week's podcast, we're gonna be doing one on Psychopaths 2. So that should hopefully be Clara, Kenny, and I.
To the Not My Problem mobile.
Oh my god! I finally get to leave.
You do get to leave, but
the sun.
there's one more that we want to do 2 weeks from now
God's
that you will have
heaving.
to watch.
God's in heaven.
Because this is one I've talked about in the past, and I would like to do it because it's 12 episodes, so it'd be easy to do. Maoyu, or Maoyusha, I think it's also known as.
You're gonna have to link to that one.
I will.
Oh,
Don't,
yeah.
don't worry. It's on Crunchyroll. It's a 12-episode series written by the guy who wrote Log Horizon. Or the original light novel was written by him, and then it was adapted into an anime. Fantasy setting. Like, basically, hero comes to defeat the Demon King, classic fantasy style.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, but if you kill me, like, the war's not going to end. In fact, both sides want the war to continue because economically it benefits both sides for
That
this
sounds
war
awesome.
to happen. And it goes into, like, a lot of economics and politics, and, like, they're trying to, like, get the world to a point where, like, they
War.
won't starve to death if
War
the war
never
suddenly
changes.
ends.
That sounds awesome.
It is awesome. And it has one of my favorite scenes in any anime ever is in that anime. So that's one I want to do 2 weeks from now. So that's for you guys to do. But Clara
So-
and Kenny will do Psychopaths 2 next week. And then in terms of after that, I don't know if we'll do another one. Maybe, maybe not. Then we're getting near finals week-ish
How
time.
many episodes are in Psychopaths?
11.
Okay.
It's not too long.
I thought it was much longer than that.
Nope. It's only 11. That's part of the
Wow.
thing. Is that disappointing to
Yes.
you? Well, you have less to watch in a week.
You wanted the full 22 spread again?
Kind of.
It
It's
gets
26.
It gets moving a lot faster than Psychopaths 1 as a result of that. Like,
I guess so.
it
I
gets
mean,
into
they
the
have
main
less
plot
to build up, I guess.
quickly.
But
But that's what we're doing for next time. So thank you guys for being here. I think this is a fun top 10 discussion we had. And
it was very, very benevolent.
yes, there wasn't as much arguing as last
That
time.
was last time, or the time before that.
So we will see you guys in a week, I guess. See you then.
Sayonara.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
This product is copyright AVW Productions 2000.